Well, life sure is sweet with Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver on your side, man. What a breath of fresh air for this receiver room, guys. When's the last time we had a couple of guys that can just make it happen? A couple of guys, every time they touch the ball, they're a threat to go. And that's exactly what happened. Not only did that happen, Casey Concepcion getting open, Colin Klein scheming guys open, a beautiful goal line touchdown on a double motion play action pass, single motion, double motion, motion play action pass to Theo Mellenorstrom. Some really, really fun offensive stuff last night. And we saw Aggie football, guys. That's a celebration in itself. We made it. We watched a game. We saw the 2025 version of the team. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about this team. The good, the bad, what needs to change, what needs to continue, what we still haven't seen yet. And what we haven't seen yet is the running game. Because UTSA did sell out for that run. They were pulling safeties over to the strong side. They were allocating an extra couple of DBs or linebackers to whichever direction we were going to be running. And they made A&M pass. And A&M passed that test. I think Marcel Reed showed what he told us. That he's been working on his passing, that he is the quarterback, and that he's not just a runner. Marcel Reed dropped back, passed over and over and over in this game because that's what UTSA allowed, and that's what A&M wanted to work on. You have to believe that A&M wanted to break in this passing attack because the running game will come. And now you put this passing attack on film, and you have Notre Dame playing today with a bye week next weekend to sit on 2 weekends of A&M film, and now they're going to say, okay, well, we can't just sell out for this running attack because there is a Casey Concepcion, there is a Mario Craver out there, and you hope to just put more of that on tape next weekend versus Utah State. UTSA was always going to have an offense that exposed our defensive holes. Not necessarily destroy us, not drop 40 on us, not beat us in a game, but show us where we need to get better. And that is exactly what happened in this game. They ran on us, man. They ran on us over and over again. But A&M stopped it. There was a point in that second half where A&M said no more, and all it was a schematic adjustment. If you go through this game and you look at the explosive runs that UTSA had on A&M, I just watched the first half. We didn't do the deep dive film study. I went through it pretty quickly. But all but maybe 2 of those explosive runs in the game were by way of UTSA specifically attacking A&M's blitz package by running at it. A&M oftentimes on passing downs brings a bunch of players down to the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's pass rushing. You don't know who's dropping back. That's what Elko always does. That's what a lot of teams do. But instead of trying to decide who to block, they would just either run through the blitz or away from the blitz. And that worked several times on 3rd and longs against A&M. The 75-yard run. You had one player run the wrong play. And UTSA ran right at the gap where that safety was supposed to be. You had a player coming in for the first. It was Miles Davis. It was his first play of the game. I don't know why. I don't think he played in the first half. I don't know if there was a suspension or something we didn't know about. He either didn't play or didn't play much in the first half. He started the second half. And he comes down, exactly what we're talking about, that line of scrimmage look. He showed that on a first down. Wrong play. Just young player mistake. It happens. And they run at it and they punish you because you have to be gap sound. So all the plays where UTSA was running, gashing us, I didn't particularly feel like the D-line was getting worked. I really didn't. And when you first watch this game, you feel like maybe A&M got out-physicaled by a G5 school. I didn't feel that way rewatching it. Evidence towards that, every time UTSA dropped back to pass, the D-line was either collapsing that pocket, the blitz was getting through, there was a hand in his face, there was a body closing in on him. Owen McCown did not have time to throw when he dropped back. And the 2 or 3 plays where he did, out of like 5 or 6 dropbacks, they were not dropping back after the first couple of drives because A&M was just chasing him around. But the couple plays where he did have a clean pocket, guess who stepped up? Guess who stepped up? Des Ricks. Des Ricks wasn't allowing anything. Of course, Will Lee wasn't allowing much. And to UTSA's credit, they did have some success passing, but those were all on RPOs and quick hitters. And that is a good passing attack. That is a good offense. They're going to do that all year. That is an offense with a game plan. That is an offense with a really good mind behind it. That is an offense with pieces. And they were doing stuff on Will Lee, Tyreek Chappelle. That happened. But every time they dropped back, I think the A&M pass rush was kind of an unsung hero of this game after rewatching that first half. Because go watch it, man. Go watch the first couple of drives. UTSA was trying to, like, they were testing the waters, right? Can we drop back? Can we pass? A&M said no. A&M said that's not happening. So I was encouraged by that. I want to see, this team play 4 quarters. because it took some major adjustments in the second half. What changed in the second half is that A&M was just kind of playing base defense the whole time, run fitting. They were bringing a safety down more aggressively into the run stop, into the box, and the run defense was better. 6 straight 3-and-outs. There was a penalty first down in there by way of an A&M defensive holding, but outside of that, it was 6 straight 3-and-outs or 4-and-outs for A&M's defense, just by way of an adjustment, and that wasn't just A&M wearing down UTSA, and I'm sure there was some of that in the fourth quarter, but this was second drive of the third quarter. All A&M did was adjust their defense, and they couldn't run. They couldn't pass. They couldn't get a first down. And in the post-game presser, Elko talked about the fact that we think this is fixable. Absolutely, it's fixable. And he proved that it was, because he fixed it in game. And that's a Mike Elko adjustment. Wasn't anything crazy, wasn't anything exotic. They just kind of were more patient and weren't, giving us that blitz look anymore. And we just kind of just settled into our gaps. Credit to Marcus Radcliffe. I thought he played great in that second half, filling gaps. Even Bryce Anderson, he made a couple of mistakes, but I think even Bryce Anderson did well, at least in stopping some plays, maybe not tackling to the level we would hope, but he was where he was supposed to be in enough plays after you give up that 75-yard touchdown. And you responded in a game where it felt really, really bad. Again, credit to UTSA. They attacked this game with much more urgency earlier than I think A&M did. I think A&M had some lack of focus. A lot of talk about the A&M offensive line not living up to the hype in game one, and I think that lasted for about 2 drives after rewatching this first half and like the first few plays of the third quarter, first few drives of the third quarter. The first few drives for A&M's offense were marred with offensive line mistakes, whether it was a holding, whether it was just allowing pressure. Those were the 2 main things. And either Marcelo Reed was running around too much, had to get the ball out too quickly, or the holds just set you back. But I didn't get the feeling that our offensive line got mauled like maybe you felt while watching it. Because those runs that were getting stuffed, that was coming from the secondary with just the aggressive nature that they were attacking this running game with. And that's what opened up the passing game. A&M said, okay, make us pass. Meet Mario Craver. Meet KC Concepcion. Those guys are awesome, man. We're going to see a hell of a lot of those guys. And I'm going to say this, we're not really talking Utah State today. This is pure reflection on the week 1 of A&M. We just saw the team. We need to reflect on this. We're not going to Utah State just yet. But I know many of you guys were hoping for that like week 1 G5 blowout. And I never anticipated that. A lot of Aggies didn't anticipate that because we knew what UTSA is. This is a good program. This is a team that's going places. This is a coach that's going places. This is a team that brings back a lot on offense. And, we had to learn the first couple drives against their defense because it was a totally new look outfit, and I think A&M had their way with them. But it took learning what they were throwing at us. It took learning exactly how they were going to attack this team. But I think A&M will have their way versus Utah State. I do not think that'll be the same level of resistance that you got versus UTSA. So I think if you're expecting that like 52-13, 52-10 kind of game, I think we're waiting for next week. More likely like a 49-13. Let's be conservative about it. I think that comes this next week. I think A&M stamps in a lot of what they learned. Who knows how Utah State's going to approach this running attack? Are they going to throw a couple of guys at it like UTSA was? Because if they weren't, A&M's going to run all over the place. A&M only had like 12 running back carries this game. Just pass the damn ball. Because not only was that what was being given to you and shown to you by UTSA, you wanted to break that thing in. You wanted Marcel Reed to get some live reps because it's been good during fall camp. We heard you had to go do it in a game, and they did it. I love Marcel Reed's pocket presence this game. Willing to step up, kept his eyes downfield, man. He kept his eyes up because last year, Marcel Reed kind of got caught in that, do I run? Do I pass? Do I need to evade this pressure? No, Marcel was so good at that regard this game, and that was something I thought might take time. And it took a couple drives. Offensive line ended up having to help him out. They did. He had time. And he found his guys. He found his guys, man. He found his guys late in his progressions sometimes. And that can get a lot better. It will get a lot better as this running game comes along and these running backs become more healthy. 3 carries for Le'Veon Moss. 3 carries for Amari Daniels. I think 5 carries for Ruben Owens. Let's see here. Let's pull up the stats. Oh, yeah, let's see. 5 for Ruben, 3 for Lev, 3 for Mar, 2 for EJ. I mean, they're not running the damn ball. They say pass it, we're going to pass it. And then you get this over here. Boom, 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 boom. A&M didn't really have that luxury last year, right? You know, you beg A&M to pass the ball last year. You get Bowling Green maybe. You get a rough game. You get Arkansas. It was I think I leave the game very encouraged about this offense, even though we didn't get the running attack we had hoped for. But guys, this is a new show. This is our Sunday morning react. It'll usually be Sunday morning if I'm at the game. But if we're doing watch parties here, we're going to do this right after the game. I have to drive home 3 hours to get to this setup. So we're doing this the morning after. If I'm at the game, it will be right after the game. If we're doing the watch party here, we can go straight into this show after the game. So y'all have had a night to reflect on this. I've had a night to reflect on this and kind of quickly go through some of the tape. How do we feel now? I want to hear from you guys. I see the chat filling up. I see people coming in. It's a call-in show. I want you guys to call in your takes. I see Rich. I see J. Paul. I see Snowdog. All waiting in the waiting room. We'll get to you guys in a second. Let's go through the chat and see who's here today. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday, y'all. Christian B. 7-1. KC and Craver are the real deal. Klein doesn't need to scheme, and Marcel doesn't need to force the ball 10 to 20 yards into coverage for us to move the ball now. Simple plays, getting us in space and letting them. Yeah, man, and I thought Colin Klein had an amazing game plan today. It wasn't perfect, but just seeing how they were going to allocate towards this running game, seeing that bubble was going to be there all day for these guys. A couple of play actions, you had guys just running free, and Marcel missed one of them that was just too good to be true. And Marcel has to hone that in, that deep ball that kind of sailed over KC, and then KC kind of just stepping out the back of the end zone on that other play. You know, one thing about that one, KC stepping out the back of the end zone, I feel like that's him learning Kyle Field, because we have kind of a quirky end zone paint job where we have the maroon kind of rectangle in the end zone. Then there's a stripe of green grass, and there's more maroon. That probably messed with his head a little bit. So we'll hone that in. But all that to say that Klein was scheming guys open. He schemed the tight end open on that touchdown in the second half for Theo on that play action play. It was a great game plan. It worked. It worked really well. Now, let's not be one-dimensional, right? Let's get some running stuff going. But I think they were force-feeding this passing game. Good to see you, Christian. Story last night was 50% I expected, 50% absolutely did not expect. That's any week one, dude. There's always surprises in a week one, right? I think the overall game flow, this game went pretty much, at least how I previewed this game. Maybe you gave up a little bit more than I would have hoped, for sure, in the running game. But, you know, the strong defensive performance came late in that third and fourth quarter, and then they did backdoor cover. I think the journey to get there was maybe a little bit different. I think maybe these playmakers on offense and this passing game was a little bit ahead of even what we anticipated. But I told you guys, I think the story coming out of this game is going to be the pass game. That's what we said. Because UTSA was always going to sell out for this running game. They were going to make Marcel Reed prove it, and he did. W's a W, especially in week one. Glad we corrected our D in the second half. Yes, absolutely. And by the way, we kind of saw the benefits of Marcel Reed really having a whippy throw, a whippy arm. Because on those bubbles, if you have a little bit of a loopier passer, you don't have as much time to make guys miss. You think about, I can't determine exactly when this was, but there was a play on a bubble where Craver gets the ball at the line of scrimmage, but he gets the ball in time to make the guy miss. If you're even like a split second off on that one from Marcel, Craver's getting tackled there. And it wasn't perfect every time, but that adds a lot of, you know, zip and pop. Those are the words. A lot of just, a lot more utility to this bubble game with receivers you want to run it for. Make plays. Offensive line was sus, but when the holes were there, running backs made the most out of them. If the offense can play like this, Marcel just has to play point guard and get the ball in guys' hands. Yeah, O-line was definitely sus to start the game. It was a rough couple of drives, penalties, just missed assignments, maybe some guys running wrong plays. Hard to tell. But they locked in, and a lot of the run stuff, again, was coming from that third level. UTSA bringing guys in aggressively to stop this run, and A&M made them pay in the passing game. Excited about the potential. Need to see better out of the O-line. Defense fixed the big time in the second half, but need to see them come out the gates way better. I was at the game. Torrey Nork looked like a freak out there. He's faster, not having to control the 10 other guys. He just flew to the ball making plays. He was defensive MVP. It was York and Ratcliffe to me, man. Those two guys really showed us something yesterday. And York had a couple of missed plays too. He overran a couple of plays, but for the most part, York was very, very effective yesterday. And it wasn't even perfect. He could even be better. Big back syndicate. Great game. Casey introduced himself to the Aggies in a major way. That he did. We get to see Notre Dame tonight. Yep, guys, get your scouting, get your clipboards ready. We're going to scout Notre Dame tonight. I think Notre Dame have a serious game tonight with Miami. KC and Craver will be a problem for opponents. Seemed like the game plan was to emphasize the passing game. I'm not concerned with the low rushing totals. Owens and Moss still at 6 per carry. Yeah, and I mean, are you really going to leave concerned about the O-line? Do you really think this O-line is just going to suck? No. I mean, even if it's going to be all right, guys. O-line. The protection was great after the first couple of drives. KC was always open. Yes, he was. And he was getting schemed open, too. What's up, Kara? Good to see you. Lone Star Mulligans. I think Marcel made significant strides as a passer in the offseason. Yeah, dude, I love the way he sat in that pocket. I love the way he sat in that pocket yesterday. KC's a recantation of Kirk. Yeah, man. It feels like it could be that duo, that Kirk Reynolds kind of duo. And here's something we haven't talked about. ABR and Bussy blocking this game were excellent because you're in a lot of bubbles with asking those guys to block, and they did so well. I kind of want to pull some film up, but we're going to get to the calls first. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Theo looked good. Theo did look good. It was a slow start, and then he really came into it. The Imperial March, I know, man. I know. Henry will play on Sundays. Dude, I know. This dude, and we scouted UTSA. I went on a show with a UTSA guy, and he told me, he's like, it doesn't matter what defense you're playing against. Henry will outrun people. Henry on UTSA, their running back that had 177 yards, can outrun any defense. He has that kind of burst. And we saw that. We couldn't catch him on the plays where he got free. And you can't let guys get free. I don't blame them for limiting Moss. He doesn't look 100%. No, we got to work him into this thing, man. We got to work him into this thing. What up, Nuggy? What up, Ben? What up, Gridiron Masters? UTSA got more pressure than I thought they would. They really didn't after the first couple of drives. The first couple of drives were bad. It was clean, man. From what I've seen, and I'm only through the kind of like the first third of the third quarter, great protection after those first couple of drives. Those were ugly. They cleaned it up. What's up, Play to Win? I see you in the waiting room. We'll get to you, man. Run defense to look like Swiss cheese until it didn't. It was. They adjusted. 6 straight 3-and-outs. Evans got a little pressure. The whole defensive line was getting pressure because they stopped dropping back. First half, they had like 5 or 6 dropbacks. I would say out of 4 of those, we sped the quarterback up, made him throw a bad ball. And again, the ones where he wasn't sped up, D-backs held their own. What were the specific adjustments made to the second half to stop the runs? We stopped doing that blitz look where we pull all the players to the line of scrimmage, something that Elko always does, a lot of teams do. Because whenever we were kind of bringing 6 bodies right to the line of scrimmage, they were just running right at it. Because you kind of lose your ability to kind of fill gaps effectively. And they stopped doing that. And they stopped being able to run. Because pretty much any time A&M would show that look, they would just run right at it. Just run right at our blitz. And it would squirt through. Love might rush. The D-line was not as bad as you would think on the first watch. It really wasn't. They were, causing piles. They were causing people to collapse. And I don't think it's ever going to be a major strength of this team, the run stuff ability of this D-line. But it wasn't this, terrible out-physicaled situation that you might feel after first watch. Elko was right. He said in the postgame presser, the big run plays came by way of bad gap fits. And, that's problematic. That killed us last year. I didn't feel like we were getting blown off, really. And keep in mind, it is a G5 O-line, but that is an O-line full of 23-year-olds. Those are pretty much all but one of them are redshirt seniors, one redshirt junior. Gabriel, howdy all the way from Brazil. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in from Brazil, Gabriel. UTSA schemed really well. Every time we blitzed, they threw screens, quick passes. Yep, they were on that RPO game, that quick hitter game. Good to see Le'Veon play. Yeah, man. And the thing with Le'Veon and Ruben, 3 carries for Le'Veon, 5 for Ruben. Both of their best carries were their last ones of the game. They both ended on a pretty high note. Good morning, Bo. Not a great win yesterday, but a win is a win. I think it's great because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn UTSA exposed our defense and showed what we need to fix, and that's our gap fits specifically from the third level. We had corners kind of over pursuing. There was a big play, I think, end of the second quarter where Will Lee over pursued on just like a counter run. And it pops the other direction. We gotta shore that up and be disciplined in our gap contain. McCown was pretty ass. I thought he was pretty good. I thought he got the ball out quickly at times. Ratcliffe had a great game. Yeah, he did. Le'Veon had 3. 1 good one. Elko's second half adjustments have been lifeless. Lifeless. They were great yesterday. What are you talking about? Second half adjustment was like the definition of the second half, the game yesterday. You had 6 3-and-outs after getting gashed over and over in the running game. Lack of focus. Yeah, I thought UTSA came into the game way more urgent than A&M did, especially the first 2-3 drives of the game. It took the punt return to really wake A&M up, and it took halftime adjustments to wake up the defense. And again, that 75-yard touchdown, you had a player playing his first rep of the game running the wrong play. Ran right where he was supposed to be. Saw a lot of board in at tackle and Zune at center. Yeah, we did. What do you think about the tackling? Thought missed arm tackles again. There were some missed tackles this game, kind of on the outside and some inside too. Got to clean it up for sure. For sure. They did clean it up, though. They did in the second half. I mean, everything we're talking about, all the negatives, they were specifically addressed in the second half and fixed. Let's carry the good side over. Let's not carry the negative over. Let's carry the good over. Not a lot of good matchups week 2. Yeah, OU, Michigan is the big one. That's a big game. UTSA has a pulse. So does Tarleton State. Yeah, Tarleton starting 2-0. Big upset over Army. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, UTSA has much more of a pulse, I think, than Utah State will this coming weekend. We have to score at least 50. We might. Utah State used to be pretty decent. I don't know about now. Yeah, last year was kind of a down year for them. Last couple of years, I think, have been down. But they had a bowl season streak for a while there for sure. Not going to lie, this game excited me. I think the run game was fine. We just didn't use it much was a good thing. The fact that we have some explosive receivers is going to make our offense deadly this year. Yeah, and I don't know if teams are going to be as urgent to sell out for the run once they see what Craver and KC and eventually ABR and Bussy can do. And Marcel Reed. My guess is we know the running game is good. Why put bodies through it over UTSA when they could develop their passing game against a real opponent? For sure that. And the fact that UTSA was just selling out for the run. Craver's going to be exciting. The ball he grabbed off the turf immediately turned upfield. First score was absolutely fire. I know, dude. Craver's going to be so much fun. Craver's feet, man, he made a guy miss, too, and he's 165. You know, he had like a physical break tackle on one of those bubbles. It's impressive stuff. Right before KC got that punt return, I said KC will return a kick for a touchdown this year. Now the question is, how many can he return for a touchdown? Bussy was electric in the return game, too. He's going to break some, I know. Torian deserves his flowers, make a lot of plays, and his name will be mentioned in college football a lot more. He looks like the best he's looked so far. Yeah, that was probably the best. And remember last year, Torian started the year really slow. Not this year. He's starting it on fire. That was a great game from Torian York. Let's do the receiver quick screen pass. Yeah, and we have the receivers to run it with. And we didn't even use Bussy in that regard, and you can. My thoughts on the overall throwing ball to KC. He overthrew the ball. I'll take it. Better than noodle arming it. Yeah, dude, he hammered that thing. He little juiced, as he said in the postgame presser, and you could totally see that in that pass. He just launched it. Get some air under it. Let him run to it. No one's around there. Throw a nice soft one next time. Take Notre Dame, Miami. I'm going to slightly take Notre Dame tonight. O-line took a huge step first in a few drives in the game. Marcel was knitting sweaters in the pocket. Dude, the pocket was so clean after those first couple of drives. Notre Dame, I don't believe in Krista Fraud. I'm looking for Krista Fraud. That's so rude. I'm looking forward to seeing more Nyblack, too, although Thea was definitely solid. All 3 tight ends got some action, man. Nyblack was close to getting up from that broken tackle and scoring on that one. 20 yards rushing is still too much. It was way too much, but they stopped it. Great game, Ags. Now root for the Irish because win or lose, it helps you strengthen the schedule for your playoff team. I am absolutely going for the Notre Dame loss, and the last thing I want is an angry and desperate Notre Dame coming, to our game in a couple of weeks. So we want Notre Dame to win. We don't want it to be desperate. And plus, it makes us look good if we win it. It looks better if we win it somehow, or even lose it. I'm still calling that a loss. That's my preseason prediction. I'm not changing that yet. Let's see Notre Dame tonight. I just changed my name back. Oh, you're Nuggy. Troy, you've confused me a couple times. 75 of those yards were one run. Yeah, and a lot of those were chunks on third downs. We were in that blitz package. You're just running at it. We adjusted. Regis looked good. I thought Onyedem looked good. I need to go back and hone in on DJ Hicks. I don't know. The one thing on this D-line where I'm going to maintain concern is our outside edge contain in the running game because that did suffer a couple times this game, and we're just not a big run-stoppy defensive end outfit. That's something we're going to keep an eye on for sure, but I thought the interior played pretty well. And the pass rush, again, with the D-line, was really good. They just were not dropping back because the first couple drives, they tried it, and it was not working. Quarterback was on the clock. I think there was like 6 dropbacks, pressure on 4. Good D-back, defensive back coverage on the other 2. on all of them, really. I'm just scared Notre Dame's going to run. Yeah, that's a fear, man. That was my fear going into the year, for sure. They made some mental errors, especially on defense. Second half, they got it together. Yep. Lifelines. Oh, I got you. Lifelines. Yeah. All right. Yeah, the second half adjustments are lifelines. I got you. All right, let's finish the chat. Then we're going to get right into the calls. Defense looked good after that 75-yard touchdown. Yep. 6 straight 3 and out speaks for itself. I got you, Christian B. My bad. Wasn't like a top 20 offense last year. We held them to 2 touchdowns pretty much. Yes, it's going to be a top 30 offense this year for sure. Statistically, G5. At least that's what most analytics will tell you. Just the amount of returning production and what they were last year. Yes, it's a really good offense. And I told you guys, this is going to be a team that stresses our defensive holes. It'll show us where we need to work on defense. This was not going to be that pushover that you just see G5, okay, we're going to run all over them. This was not that team. Next week, we should have that. Not UTSA. Jeff Traylor, man. Still feels like guys are tackling, and we can't bring guys down on first contact. Impressed by Regis, York, and Ratcliffe either way. Arm tackling, yeah, I got you. Go Irish, yes, absolutely. Kennedy did look good. We got a Mo Bamba playing yesterday. And we had the freaking Fighting Texas Aggie band playing Imperial March. And the first time they played Imperial March, it was a third down stop, and it led right into Casey's punt return. That thing got us going. I was beyond hyped. I was juiced. All right, let's get to the calls. Rich, you're on with Drew. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Not too bad, man. What are your takeaways and reactions to the game?
Yeah, I was actually the one that wrote the comment about like the 50% expected, 50% unexpected, just because I feel like there were so many black and white things in terms of what I liked, what I'm like extremely concerned with, even though I'm like taking in consideration week 1. But kind of going off of like where you were just talking on the defense, I was just looking at some stats, and like I was at the game, and I was, York was obviously all over the field. I was like, God, he's got to have like 20 tackles at this point. You keep hearing his name. And then there's just absence of so many names, and 2 that came to mind were DJ Hicks, Scooby Williams, and obviously Cassius Howell. I think Howell and Hicks only had 1 tackle combined. And then the ends. You look at the other ends, Searcy, Hayes, Rylan Kennedy had a great game, but that was late. That's when we were actually, in the second half when he was coming in and like doing work. It's a little concerning because we had some good play, but they're not the guys that you want to go into SEC play and say, hey, we're going to lean on this. And maybe so, but it's just unfortunate because Hicks didn't record anything last night. Yeah, and so it was a little surprising on defense, but to your point, I think the secondary did great. I know you mentioned on the run game they missed a lot of gaps, but you look at Ratcliffe, and I mean he might as well have been playing linebacker. I mean,
for sure.
I think he was our secondary saved. I think it made our front 7 look better with some of the secondary coming up, and wasn't great. There were missed gaps, but yeah, it was just a little concerning. Like I said, I think the secondary made the line look better, but that line was really concerning. You take away that 75-yard touchdown run, and the guy still had over 100 yards.
Yeah, rewatched the game. I really didn't feel like the D-line was getting manhandled. Now, the one area of concern that you brought up is Cassius Howell and these defensive ends in the running game. That is an area that I will continue to monitor. But these D tackles, they were holding their own. They were causing piles. They were not allowing offensive linemen to get to the second level quickly. And I feel like with a defensive tackle, with a nose guard, with a 3-tech, the utility doesn't always show itself in tackles, because what you're doing is you're just trying to occupy space and let Torrey and York get 10 tackles. Now, Scooby, he did come out of the game pretty early. He had a hamstring cramp, and he only played like 40 snaps in the game, whereas the rest of the main guys played like in the 50s. So he had a limited game. He had a couple of plays early, but I don't know. He was grabbing that hamstring, and he was not playing much kind of towards the midpoint of that game and beyond. So that's something to monitor for sure. At least you have another tune-up next week. But yeah, I definitely want to see some disruption out of a guy like Hicks, out of these defensive ends in the running game. But if you go back and look at any time UTSA dropped back to pass, pretty much all 4 defensive linemen were collapsing on him. Pretty much all of them were either collapsing the pocket or just getting through or reaching a hand into the quarterback's face, or there was an untouched blitzer running through. So they weren't dropping back much. We didn't get a huge sample size of it, but it was fine in that regard. And I mean, first glimpse, I totally see what you're saying, but it really isn't. It wasn't. We weren't getting brutalized. We weren't getting mauled like you might have thought on first watch, like I thought on first watch. And the guys that reaped the benefits of what some of those D tackles were doing in those run games, you saw it late when they adjusted and were able to fill gaps more effectively. But that's Marcus Ratcliffe benefiting from that. That's Torrin York benefiting from that. Who else led us in tackles this game? Let me see real quick. Landon Rink had 3 in his backup role. Bravion Rogers spelled pretty well, kind of midpoint of the game. But yeah, that's. I'm not going to judge him based on the tackle number on the D line, but I would like to see some disruption from DJ Hicks for sure.
Yeah, I think on the last point on the defense, like I definitely want to watch it again because I watched a little bit of the offense.
Yeah.
Again, and I saw something different, and yeah, I think. And then on the offense, I think when I rewatched a bit, I was really concerned about the offensive line. And wasn't really understanding what we were doing with our offense in terms of being super one-dimensional, as if we don't have the run game. But looking back, I think it was on purpose. But then when we did run, that was what concerned me. It wasn't that we didn't run much. It was, we had take away 2 runs, 1 Moss, 1 Owens. And I think every run was like 3 yards. We weren't really getting much push. And looking back on it, I don't know if it's concerning or not, but the offensive line, it was, yes, UTSA was stacking the box, but they were double blocking one person. Like they weren't getting to the backers. They weren't getting to the next level. It seemed like they were just, and then when they would pull, like guards would pull or tackles would pull, they wouldn't get there. It was a timing and kind of confusion on their part. It wasn't like the O-line did not get manhandled at all. It just seemed like they just messed up a lot.
Yeah, I definitely, specifically early in the game, man, they were kind of the emblem for the sloppiness that we started the game with, was that offensive line. There were penalties too, but I just cannot get myself to be concerned about this running game after one game. I cannot feel that that's going to be a long-lasting thing, especially with the development and kind of the rise of this passing game. It's going to open everything up. But yeah, man, they got to be a lot cleaner. It definitely was not pretty. And there was definitely we were allowing too many bodies in small areas. You're getting to that next level. We weren't sticking to assignment super well in the running game. But again, man, I have to trust this thing to get right. I have to trust Adam Cushing after seeing what he did in year 1.
Yeah, I can't write him off that quick. I mean, that, if anything, is just PTSD from Adazio. So yeah. I'm not concerned either. Especially, the only thing that concerned me about the run game, after one of Moss's last runs in the first half, he looked like he was slightly, it just didn't seem like comfortable, and he didn't run much after that. My concern was he might have retweak something, but he came back in, so that was
for sure. There was a play, I think like the first drive, where we threw a swing pass out to him because we got pressure and he had to get the ball out quickly, and when he turned to run, he tripped and he went down, and he kind of came off gingerly. It wasn't quite a limp, but it was definitely like a labored jog. I saw exactly what you saw. But yeah, he did come back in, and he had his like 12-yard run or whatever it was to end his night. So I think that's going to be a work in progress, man. I think that's going to be a couple of weeks of just 3 to 6 yards, maybe 3 to 6 carries. Maybe versus Notre Dame, you get maybe you get 10 out of him. But hopefully this passing game can take some pressure off of him. You have other backs. Let's see Ruben Owens build off that big run, the explosive he had late in the game. But definitely something to monitor with Le'Veon. I think they handled him very responsibly. Just 3 carries. He had a huge. I'm not gonna be able to find it right now, but he had a huge down the field block on a Marcel Reed run. Where he just uplifted a guy. Yes. He decleated a dude, and that was Le'Veon leading the way there. So hopefully it's just kind of a pain thing. I mean, you have to imagine it's tender, first live action, but he was able to go.
Yeah, no, honestly, the offense, I'm just excited for. I feel like we just saw a sliver of like what they're gonna, showcase this year. So that's great. And yeah, no, honestly, great great week 1 overall. I do want to rewatch the D-line because I was just getting frustrated during the game.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, everybody's got expectations, and it doesn't do anything. Rylan Kennedy might be our guy this year. Maybe it's
For
just
sure.
game 1 and he had who cares as long as they get pressure. And I think we're coming off of a year where we had Stewart and Scorton like bullying the ends, so we really collapse the pocket all the time, where maybe we can't expect that level of collapsion. So we'll see. But yeah, no, it's good. Utah State will be good to kind of practice a little more in terms of getting things going and fixing things, because Notre Dame's got that rushing offense. So yeah.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of defending the D line. I don't think that run stuffing is going to be a major strength of this team, but I think we can stop it from being just like this weakness where we get dominated. And I think they showed that with the adjustment. 6 straight 3-and-outs is pretty good. But we'll see, man. O-line has to play cleaner for sure. Jay, Paul, you're on with Drew. How you feeling today?
What's up, Primo? I'm all right. Hey, let me ask you real quick before we talk ball. What do you think about those LED lights? I kind of got mixed reviews from people I talked to.
I feel like they're still breaking it in, still learning kind of how to use them. I think they weren't using them all out. I think for like a touchdown, you should have it go dark, show some red, show some stuff. I like what they are though. I just feel like using them, we gotta hone it in. I thought the post third quarter light show was pretty cool. I like having them during the national anthem. They were kind of flickering them red, white, and blue like a flag waving in the air. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool, man. I saw the going into the fourth quarter, the BCS had it on there, but I think maybe when it gets darker, it'll probably look a little better.
Yeah, the longer nights as the season rolls on. Hopefully we get some night games, because I know our November game versus South Carolina, that's already slated to be an 11 o'clock game, so we won't be able to see them then, but maybe we'll get a game or so. I don't even know which one that'd be. Samford? I mean, I don't know, because we don't have many night games late.
Yeah. Well, in regards to the game, I mean, I don't think anything I saw changed my opinion about the team either way.
Yeah.
I still think it's probably 8-4-ish. I mean, especially after watching some of the other SEC games this week. I mean, LSU is going to be a beast, right? Auburn's going to be a tough game, obviously. I think Missouri, obviously, as well, is going to give us trouble. So I don't know if anything changed. I mean, I think I picked them the Aggs to win by 15. What was it? 18. I figured it'd be like a 3-quarter fight. It turned out to be like a 2.8 quarter fight. But some of the things I was looking for specifically is, like you were, I want to see how Marcel moved around the pocket. I thought it was excellent. I mean, I think you can tell they really worked on that this offseason.
Yeah, he stepped up. He kept his eyes up. It was great to see.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of disagree. I don't know. I haven't watched it, went back and rewatched it. I was kind of concerned with the lack of pressure we were getting also. It looked like obviously the ends didn't show up in the box score at all, but it didn't seem like Howell was getting there at all. I mean, I know for sure in the first half.
No, if you look at the first couple of drives, when UTSA was actually attempting drop back passes, it was the whole D line and the blitzers were all in this quarterback's face, and they just switched to RPO and quick game only the rest of the game, and they were getting the ball out 1.5 and under. So that's going to neutralize your pass rush. I mean, yeah, you maybe call back after we've rewatched it. They dropped back maybe 5 or 6 times in the game. They did not drop back and pass a lot. But when they did, all but a couple times, there was pressure. They weren't getting sacks, but there was definitely a speed. They were definitely speeding the quarterback up. But yeah, take another look at it. Come back. RPO, I mean, hard to get pressure on those.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think, Hicks, obviously he didn't show up in the box score either. I did see for sure on one play where he got creased, he got pushed to the side.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just needs consistency, man, because he's had a couple of good plays, but, man, he got to put it together.
I don't know what to expect from him, to be honest with you. I think we may see him start losing time as the year goes on to some of the freshmen. They definitely had an impact. Sanders and Rink both. They were beating their guy 1-on-1 for sure.
Yeah, they were. That was a nice stretch by them at the end of the game. Rink ended up getting 3 tackles in what was it, 15 snaps, something like that, from the defensive tackle position. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I got to go here, man. A little bit. I got to start in the rain. But what's up with Dalton Brooks? Was this an injury or was it because of his arrest?
Yeah, it was the disciplinary thing for sure. He's not hurt. Yeah, it was discipline.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, the other thing we talked about, was Marcel's deep ball. I think that's just going to be a constant struggle for him, but I think we can supplant it with some of those quick hitters now that we got guys that can really run after the catch, and he's able to lead them pretty well on the bubble screens and the slants, so I don't think it's a huge concern, but obviously you have to
hit those. Yeah, and that's exactly what we have circled. I mean, let's just not let that be a thing, man. Let's be able to chalk that up to first game just being too amped, and we have to hit those in bigger games, because I mean, they schemed him open. The play worked, and you had the guy there, and you just missed him, and that's one of the things we had circled for Reed. He passed a lot of the tests though, but that was one where he needs to get that honed in. At least hit those, right? We're not asking you to dot. We're not asking you to throw guys open downfield. We got to hit the open ones.
No doubt. And I mean, any weekend's a good weekend. We see the Sips lose and us win, right? I was pretty certain they were going to lose that game, and
yeah,
we'll see. Hopefully next weekend, like you said, I really want to see us concentrate on the run game. I think that's kind of Klein's idea here. Is he really wanted to see what Marcel could do? He wants to know what he has, and I think we'll see a different game plan for Notre Dame, obviously. But next week, I really want to see us get the run game going.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, I got to roll, buddy.
Later.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call. I don't think his deep ball's a problem. You'll see how windy it was. Yeah, there was some wind there, but I mean, it's wide open. And I mean, we're not condemning. I'm not condemning the deep ball, but I think he can hone it in. But it was a bad play. It was a bad play. He acknowledged he was a little bit amped on that one, and the way he looked, he rolled back, he saw it, and he just launched it. Put some air under it, even with the wind. Casey's gonna go get it. Slow that thing down a little bit. He can hit those. Again, this offense is not going to need him to be throwing guys open, through zone defenses down the field. We're not going to need that. We need him to hit those, and he will. I think that kind of play he can do. He can hit. We can expect that from him. He was great. Besides that, he was great in the game. Snow Dog, you're on with Drew. How you feeling?
Hey, Drew. How you doing, man?
Not bad, man. Not bad.
Yeah, we talked a couple times last year. I don't know if you remember. I'm Bruce, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I got Snow Dog on some. I don't know.
It's just yeah. The name can change. I got you. Yeah, I remember you calling a couple times, Bruce.
Yeah. And last year I was so high on the Aggies, and I'll tell you why it was. It was expectations. So think back to last year before the season start. What were the 2 things you were most sure would be good to great?
It was D-line and Connor Wegman for me.
Boom. That is exactly. I was like, we're going 10-2. We're going 10. I mean, we got Connor, and this D-line is incredible. Well, Connor was not that. Like, I don't know what happened to him, but so that was one reason we didn't meet the expectations we had. And then the D-line, while they were good and they had talent, they were never dominant. They were never the D-line that we were sold that they were going to be,
Right.
All right. So this year, what were your 2 expectations, the 2 groups you thought would be the best?
Well, in
on the
terms
team
of groups for this year, is running back and O-line, I guess. But overall, I think my biggest thing with this team, the biggest, I think, factor for me that gave me encouragement was overall experience. But if you're going to groups, it would be O-line and running backs.
Yeah. And for me, it was O-line and wide receiver, just because of all the stuff I've heard. And when you talk about running backs, I am still not sold on the running backs. I'm taking a little time to figure out, because I mean, Le'Veon's great, and he's coming off a knee injury, a horrible knee injury. Ruben is great, but he hasn't ever shown. Well, I mean, Ruben's not great yet. Like, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
but
fair.
he's coming off season-ending injury. So for me, I think the running back thing, I still think it's to be determined. But the two things I was most, high on, as far as what I had heard, because we haven't seen anything, were the receivers and the O-line. The O-line is still to be determined. I think they had good and bad yesterday, and it was hard for me to watch. I was having to watch on my phone, so I can't really say too much. But the receivers, I mean, I think that question's been answered.
Yeah, honestly, in a game one, just one game sample size, I think it surpassed my expectations, I have to say.
Oh, for sure. Like, don't you, like, I mean, we've been hearing all this stuff, and like half of what KC and Craver did yesterday would have been great.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my second point. KC, all we've heard is that how talented, how great, how everything this guy is. I think he's more than that. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Number one, the team's just really struggling. He goes out and returns a punt for a touchdown. That's great. That's awesome. Like, you got to have playmakers that'll just turn a game like that, and he seems like one of them. But point number two, KC, on the ball that was overthrown, what was his body language after that ball was overthrown?
Oh, dude, he's a great locker room guy. You can already see it. It's good.
Exactly. He didn't shrug his shoulders and throw his hands up in the air and blah, blah, blah. No, what he did was go back to the huddle, and then 2 or 3 plays later, Marcel hits him on the slant or post or whatever you want to call it, where the ball is a little bit high, and he goes up and grabs it and gets a 30-yard gain or something.
Yeah.
And I think on that same drive that Marcel just missed a wide open touchdown, we go down and score a touchdown anyway. So it's like it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
And that's partly because of KC's body language and his leadership. And, hey, we didn't get that one. Let's go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the next time. And, talent is something that everybody can see. Like, you got talent. We can see it. But you got to have more than talent. You got to have leadership. You got to be able to turn things around when everything's not going great. Look at Alabama yesterday. Who was their leader? What did they have to turn that game around?
Yep.
Look at freaking Texas. I mean, Arch Manning, all of this talk about him. Johnny Manziel was better his first game in college than Arch is in his fourth start, or how much in 3 years in the system.
Yeah.
Like, you put Johnny on that Texas team yesterday, and with that defense, I mean, they're not losing a game. They're not probably even coming within 20 points of losing.
Yep.
Any game.
Yep.
So, and then my third point, I'll be quick. Unless do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
I'll
stop on KC real quick, because I totally see what you're seeing, and I really liked his fall camp presser. Just a very encouraging, positive guy. Very kind of, I don't know what the word is, just very energetic. I kind of like his communication style. Very, very genuine sounding. But he went down after a punt return. He came up cramping. He was kind of holding on to his calf and it was cramping up, and we didn't see him much afterwards. But you know what he did when he was on the sideline? He took his helmet off, and he was facing the receiver group, ready to sub in, because the receivers are just standing right there, right by the coach, because they're subbing in and out the whole game. And he's right there with his helmet off, just talking to him the entire time. He never went and sat on the bench. He never went to the back. He was right there, closest guy to the game, helmet off, not even facing the game, talking to his receivers the entire time. And I like that group a lot, because I think another encouraging part of that room, and this is not something receivers get credit for, and I mentioned this quickly today, on those bubbles we were hitting over and over, Ashton Bethel-Roman and Bussy were willing and effective blockers. They were blocking downfield. They were blocking at the line of scrimmage. They were getting very physical. And that's an unsung aspect of a team that can really be a game changer. So we saw it in the passing game and the quick hitter game today. And if that can make its way into the running game too, I mean, that's going to really help you bust stuff open downfield and get you past that first level and then some. You talked about the running back room. I think for me, the uncertainty in this room is just the injury situation, right? But I think the positive side and why people were still high on it is because you feel like even if you have Ruben out there, he's the most healthy guy, or you have EJ Smith out there, he's the most healthy guy, and they have to go prove it. I think that the tandem of the potential of that room plus the offensive line is really the ultimate kind of thing that takes us to the upside of the running game. I'm with you though. We have to come back from some injuries. Amari Daniels is coming off an injury too, and we have to see that come to fruition. Yeah. But I just think it's that O-line running back tandem that has us excited there. But all that to say, we have like 3 units you and I have highlighted between the two of us that we're high on, because we were not consistent in our highlights for like the 2 best position groups. So I think this offense can have a lot of fun with it once things get going.
Yeah, and the running backs, I'm definitely not down on them.
Yeah.
Based on what I've heard through the fall, I expected more from the receivers than the running backs, just because I got to see like Le'Veon's injury. When I was playing sports, forever ago, like, you didn't come back from an ACL in freaking 9 months. Like, so I'm out on that. But the running back room itself, I think Ruben will be great. That 30-yard run was awesome. And I can't wait to see Morrow. Like, everybody's been talking about him. I think, and I watched a little bit of his tape, and he looks incredible.
Yeah.
So maybe he gets.
If we have
some time.
to, he will be the guy. I mean, he's right there on the cusp. He's right there. He's on the depth chart. He's mentioned by Elko several times. I want to say he had a reception this game. I'm making that up, or was that EJ Smith? I thought he got involved.
I'm pretty sure he got a touch.
Yeah, he had an 8-yard reception over the middle. He did. Yep.
And about the wide receivers blocking, you don't score on those bubble screens unless your receivers are blocking.
Yep. And
they don't have to do a lot. Like, they just have to want to do something.
Yep.
And for them to get Craver that touchton was awesome.
Yeah. They were both huge on that touchdown, man. One blocked the corner, the other blocked the safety. It was super physical. I think Ashton Bethel finished that block, throwing him on the ground as Craver crossed the goal line. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, and with Craver's speed, I mean, you just gotta slow those guys up a little.
Yeah.
And Craver's gone.
They're gone.
Like, it's so much fun to watch an Aggie do that,
I know, it's been a while, huh?
And the last thing I'll say, and I'll let you go, is Marcel. So Marcel was, he had his moments, but the thing with Marcel, when I watch him, or when I watched what I could, the ceiling is so high.
It is.
Like if he did, if he did better than yesterday, what would we be talking? I mean, it'd be insane, but all he has to do is get quicker at his reads. He's got the arm, he's got the accuracy. I don't know, like, if you remember this one throw he threw over the middle, and I'm watching on my phone, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of traffic in there.
Yeah.
And then they show it from behind the play, and he hit Borkature, and he put that thing in such a small window, and it was just boom right there. Borkature made the catch, and then they, like, 3 guys hit him. But when I first saw the play, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that throw. And then when I watched it from the other side, I'm like, whoa, that was actually just beautiful the way he put that in there.
Yeah, and the great thing about him is his ball has some zip to it. It gets there quickly.
Exactly.
And when you have catch and run threats, that enables them to use their ability. I mean, even on these bubbles, you want them getting the ball and getting their eyes up quickly. And with a guy like Marcel, that's hand and glove fit. He's going to get the ball in their hands and they're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of accuracy changes a 10-yard, 5-yard gain to a touchdown, just like it did with Craver.
Yes.
If Craver has to spin around and try to catch the ball, that guy's going to hit him. There's a guy, going to hit him and stop him for hell, maybe even no gain.
Yeah.
So with Marcel, like I think his ceiling is incredible.
Yeah.
He just has to, get more time and have the game slow down for him. And the other thing about Marcel that Connor never showed at A&M is the ability to be that other, like I'm talking about KC. You got to have that leader. When things are bad, what are you going to do? Who's going to turn it around? Who's going to be the guy? Well, Marcel did that against LSU. He did that against Auburn. We lost eventually, but he came back 21-0 down. He did it at South Carolina.
Yep.
Where we're down, 20, whatever, comes back, ties the game. And yeah, it didn't turn out great. And there were problems in the second half, but he has shown that ability to be that kind of leader where, hey, I don't care. Let's go. We're going to go. It doesn't matter if we're down or up or what. We're just going to do it.
Yep.
And man, I just see the upside with Marcel just being so high.
Man, I agree, man. And if this is just the starting point, I can't wait to see where this thing goes, especially when you have that effective running game next to it. I mean, UTSA, they sold out. They went for that running attack. They were able to slow it down. Offensive line, some sloppiness helped them. But once this thing's going in both directions, run and pass, I mean, that's just going to open things up more for Marcel. But all right, Bruce, man, I appreciate the call, man. I hope to hear back from you over the weeks.
Oh, you bet, man. I appreciate you doing this. It's awesome to talk.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. Good call from Bruce there. Yeah, in a game where Marcel really was just like the offense, he was the trigger man. He was the true quarterback the whole game. He didn't have the running game. 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, and 0 turnover-worthy plays. Those are plays that are in trouble that could have been picked off but weren't. Were kind of in the vicinity of a defender. 0 of those per PFF. Took care of the ball, was smart with the ball, hit his receivers. And that was in the bubble game, the easy stuff that was there. And he added to that easy stuff with his zip. But that was also through traffic, like the Borkshire play, like the one to KC over the middle, like the touchdown to KC over the middle where he sat in that pocket, showed patience. Really good starting point for Marcel Reed. All right. Play to win. You're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
Hey, morning, Drew.
Morning.
Pretty good. I went and got my walk in, and I was thinking, oh man, the show I'll be coming on. I got home about 10:30, and it was. You don't been on for 10 minutes. I said, okay, that's pretty good timing. So
yeah, perfect timing. I saw you in there in the chat at the start of the show. You were on time.
Yeah, and good to see everybody else. I got to see some of the game. I didn't get to see all of it. I don't have cable. Okay, so I don't have a cable provider. I have internet. So I saw some of the game, and under bad weather conditions, because lightning was called. I think A&M said no lightning. I think was it or whoever was carrying the game said there was lightning in the area, so they brought down some of their cameramen.
Yeah.
So
we had
we just had the wide view of the field. So I got to watch it for a while, but then you get the the block screen, and then you get the live stream ended. I got that. I didn't get to see, but I got to see the highlights at the end of the game. And I had, like a lot of us, we had some high expectations. I was looking for, and that was my bad. I was looking for the finished product.
Yeah.
We ain't got to the finished product yet.
Yeah.
Not nearly. I mean, we've got months until we get to it. Hope everybody stays healthy. They're banged up and bruised up after playing that ball game, but I didn't see no major injuries. Everybody just get in the whirlpool and do some PT, do what you got to do. Ice packs were needed. we know the drill, but the offense was pretty well fairly. The ball by Colin was distributed evenly, I think, fairly.
Yeah, 11 receptions by 11 different players.
The tight ends, 11 different players. Thank you. And our tailbacks, got work, and I think fresh legs. So they go out of the game. Excuse me. Somebody else come in the game, It seemed like it was even distributed. That's really good. As far as my points, the offense was 8 points short. Our defense gave up 4 more than my maximum's 20, but that's okay. I mean, listen, it's first time out. It's our first game, and it's a big learning thing. We got to go to film, got to watch the film, and where we need to improve, where where mistakes were made. There's a lot of grabbing. I saw a lot of grabbing. I didn't see a lot of tackling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it happens. And the coach will point that out. Hey man, we got to grab. We got to wrap it up. Okay, okay, we got it. And they're going to do a lot better. But I'm really impressed with Marcel Reed. He had a career high 4 TDs.
Yeah.
Concepcion, his debut, did great. I was really impressed by him. And I watched each individual player, go up to the mic, after the game, after Coach Elko, and got to watch them and see what they had to say about it. They were great individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Great football players. And that's about, I think rush versus pass, we were pretty, I think pretty even, were we?
No, we passed way more this game. UTSA was kind of selling out for the run, and I think we could have probably force-fed it, but I think A&M was really eager to break in the passing game. I think they really wanted to get that look for Marcel and these new receivers.
Yeah, there was run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's great to have so many options. He did. Marcel was
the only
great.
screw up we know.
Yeah, it was the overthrow, but yeah, I mean,
ran the ball. Yeah, Nordstrom.
Yeah,
Nordstrom caught one. I mean, the tight end.
Yeah.
Like I said, the ball was evenly distributed out to the offense, and Colin was great in that. That strategy. And it worked. And we scored 42 points. So it was a good outing. But we're going to learn. Like next Utah State, we're going to play the other Aggies.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn more, and then get ready for the Notre Dame game. And the only thing that really kind of concerned me was that UTSA was pushing the ball down the field offensively.
Yeah.
They were pushing us around, a pretty good bit. And on defense, we seemed a little apprehensive, a little unsure. But that's first game jitters. It's just like when Reed threw that ball to Concepcion, he way overthrew. He saw it. You would have done it. I would have done it. I'm looking downfield. This guy's wide open. Whoa! Boom, man. I mean, you swing it down there to get it to him, and all he had to do is just throw it to him.
Yeah.
And he would just walk in the end zone. There's nobody like 30 yards around him.
Yeah. He said he was amped, so yeah, he did
overall, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a great production. Reed was instrumental in our offense. Of course, 4 TDs is career high.
Yeah.
So it was a great. And the defense, the defense, they held in there, and they're learning. They're working. We're starting to gel as a team. It's going to take time.
Yep. And so I thought it would defensively.
Yeah, and we haven't done our best. Offensively, we hadn't shown them our best, and it's going to take time for that to come around. And in certain games, we're going to have to show our best. Probably with Notre Dame, when we go to South Bend, we're going to have to show our best.
Yep, absolutely, man, absolutely.
So, but thanks for doing the Sunday show. So I appreciate you doing it. I was really excited. I went, wow. Yeah, right after the game, post-game, Sunday morning, let's get everybody on, and let's get everybody's take on it.
Yeah. I was doing these on Tuesday because that's when I have availability, but I could also do it Sunday. It's like, might as well talk about the previous week on Monday so we can get to the next week once the week comes. That's kind of the plan here. But all right, Play to Win, man. I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, enjoy your Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Drew, was that you making fun of Nuno's bald spot? Lucci didn't like that. No. I didn't even know he had a bald spot. And why would I make fun of it? Why are you asking me this? No, I did not. Do you think I did? I did not make fun of anybody's bald spot. I wouldn't do that. Well, to me, that last touchdown we gave up, I'm not counting it since it was garbage time. I knew they were going to freaking do it, too. I knew Jeff Triller wanted to cover, man. And they wanted that momentum because they have the game of the year for them is this coming weekend. It's their Texas State game. It's like the big home game. They're opening the second deck at the Alamo Dome. They're expecting 50,000 plus. It's like UTSA's biggest game of the year is coming up in week 2, and they wanted to get right going into that one. Gary says Elko has proven to be a great discerner of talent, both portal and high school. Many of his recent acquisitions were on display. Absolutely, man. You can talk about the young guys. Rink, Noah Mikhail got in there. Sanders got in there. Not too many young guys outside of that, but you talk about his portal acquisitions, and obviously the receiver room, man. That was awesome. Armaj Reed Adams, one of his guys. Yeah. Trooper Drew, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
Hey, good, man. How's it going?
Good, man. I'm feeling pretty happy. We're in the season now.
I know, man. It feels so good.
Yes,
what a
sir.
what a college game day opener, man. That was epic. I just kept on laughing at what happened with the Ohio State game.
Dude, it was okay. Yeah,
Still.
that's a good point. I haven't talked about this. It was a great day. I mean, I love Lee Corso. I watched that entire college game day. I'm all about Lee Corso. He's like one of my favorite people ever that I haven't met. And enjoyed the hell out of that. Enjoyed the hell out of the Ohio State atmosphere, the fans, the crowd, the shoe, and of course enjoyed the outcome of the game. And then A&M, they gave us a little scare there for a couple of quarters, but then they did their thing in the second half. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I think Elko probably went into this and talked to the coordinators. Was like, hey, let's not show our cards. Why do we want to give film to the rest of the season from the watch? We're not going to scheme up these really good plays that we can run. I don't remember. I don't know if you can call this a play action, but Marcel took the ball. He acted like he was going to run, and the secondary dropped. Like they came crashing in, and then he threw it over the top of them to a slant to KC. I don't think they went for a touchdown. It might have.
Was it the one
that
was
a
kind
great
of
play?
high? Yeah, was it? There were two of those, and I think one was like a first down conversion, and one was the touchdown. Those two slants or over the middle to KC.
But yeah, I think he didn't want to pull out those cards and let anybody see those kind of plays that we want to run later on in the year, and so that's why I think we're running a little bit slow to start the game. I'm glad that we were able to get 3 or 6. It was 6 3-and-outs, wasn't it, in a row? Our defense finally stepped it up, so that was great to see.
Yeah, it was 6 3-and-outs, man. Yeah, Solomon Williams was a great standout late. That's a really good catch. Rylan Kennedy showed out late. I thought there were some really good performances down the stretch by some younger dudes.
The only concern right now is the run defense. I know everyone's talking about it. We'll see if it's a coachable thing that they can fix. Hopefully, it's not a talent thing.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think it's going to be our strength, right? I don't think it's going to be like we're a dominant run-stuffing defensive line, but I think schematically they showed that they could adjust around it because they did. I mean, those 6 3-and-outs, that was a schematic adjustment. We stopped showing that kind of 6 guys at the line of scrimmage blitz. We just all kind of sat in our base spot. We weren't showing that blitz, whether we were bringing it or not. Just showing it was getting guys out of position. In the 175-yard touchdown run, the player ran the wrong assignment, and he was in that blitz look, and we vacated the gap that he ran through in doing so. So, yeah, I think a lot of that's fixable by adjustments, and Elko acknowledged that in the postgame presser. Of course, he's going to say that, but you could see that in the game. We got both sides of that thing because we stuffed them the entire second half until that last backdoor cover drive. Yeah, and
it might take some more personnel for us to be able to be a team that stuffs the run, like schematically bring in the linebackers in or a blitz from a DB or something to help stop the run. But just the upfront 4. Yeah, I'm hoping that they can get better, but we'll just have, time will tell. We'll find out real quick against Notre Dame if we can stop the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think we'll be able to stamp some stuff in that we learned in week 2. I think it's going to be a much more manageable opponent than UTSA was.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It'll be a smoother game. Man, what a game by Marcel, man. That was great to see. He came out, guns a-blazing. He was fired up. He was like, not a passer. Let me show you what a passer looks like.
I know. He went out there and threw the ball like 35 freaking times, threw for 4 touchdowns, had a couple dots in there. It was super encouraging start from Marcel. And with an offensive game plan that was really one-dimensional, he still made it happen. It was really encouraging.
And they only did and I forget what the completion rating was for play action, but they only ran play action 33% of the time. They got to step that up because whenever they run play action, Marcel just looks a lot more comfortable in the pocket rather than
the touchdown pass to Theo was play action, and then the overthrow was play action, and those were 2 of I'd have to pull up the numbers. I could probably find how many play actions we did, but yeah, man, I mean, that stuff's going to come, especially as this running game comes in. And I think the thing is, like, even if we haven't shown the running game, we're still going to have leverage with our running attack. I don't think that's going to go anywhere anytime soon. You're going to have weeks and weeks of, not running the ball to get teams to just kind of look past A&M's running attack. So I think that play action, that thing's primed, that thing's ready to go, even coming alpha this week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Man, that was great to see. KC's a stud.
Yeah,
Craver's a stud. Oh, man, I'm so excited. I know, I feel bad for Bussy. Yeah, he's taking the back seat this year, but...
He still had some moments, though. He was still there.
He did. Man, I think they got to get KC out of special teams. We gotta protect this man. We cannot afford him getting hurt.
But dude, I don't know. Him on the punt return is so lethal, though. It's like you want a guy out there changing the game, or maybe you use it selectively, right? You could throw Bussy out there, use KC as needed. I think that could be something that they can make a decision to do. But yeah, man, that dude's electric. Every time he touches the ball, you hold your breath. That dude has another gear. He runs so hard. He looks like he's gonna run out of his shoes. Like,
yeah, that slant that he cut across and then turned upfield. You could see that gear that he hit when he made the cut. Oh my word! Like the jets were turned on.
I know, man. He goes. It's just like he just moves differently. And so does KC. I mean, so does Craver, man. You got two of those guys. You got two guys that can do that. I think KC can bring a little more physicality and run through guys a little bit more. But Craver's shifty out there. He can just break an angle. I mean, you got electricity in the receiver room, and we got a running back room that's just going to build up over the course of the year. So as this thing comes together, this offense's potential with Marcel Reed is sky high right now.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm very high on our offense right now. Praying to God that the defense can make some adjustments, and I think our DBs looked fantastic. Radcliffe, I didn't realize how big the man was. Holy crap, he's a big dude.
Looks like a linebacker. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's physical. So I think I'm confident in them. Hopefully, just the D line. That's the only question mark right now is the D line.
All right, you want to hear the? Make sure this is the right thing. Yeah, in the UTSA game, A&M ran 12 play actions. Marcel Reed's completion percentage on those was 91%.
Holy crap!
Dude. A lot of those, to be fair, were those bubble plays that are RPOs, so those get registered as play action. But still, 91%, 166 yards, 14-yard average, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's just the ability of this offense, man.
Yeah, that is fantastic. That is really great. And three. I mean, it should have been 4, but 3 completions of 20 yards or more. I mean, that is.
I know.
That's already 30% of what he had last year in the first game. That was great to see.
I know, it's crazy, man. This thing could be awesome this year. Well, all right, Trooper Drew. Any closing thoughts, man?
Oh man, I wish I got on the Hall of Fame board, but
did anybody get it? Let me see. I don't think anybody got this one because I think nobody predicted 24. I think everybody was like 21 points ish to 17. You went 23. You were 1 point off in both direction.
Yeah, I know, man. I was close.
Here are the guesses. I'll throw them on screen for everybody. Guys, pregame show, we do Hall of Fame if you haven't been here for one of those. And if you get the score right, the actual score prediction right, I put you on the whiteboard behind the screen the whole season or during the background of every show. But Trooper Drew was 1 point off in either direction. Theo got the opponent right. This is my same score prediction that Theo had. And then some of us kind of undershot here. I think this was Jay Paul was pretty close too, but yeah, man, it was encouraging offensively. Let's see the defense play full 4 quarters next time and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Excited for this week's show. I'm just excited for all the film breakdowns to watch throughout the week, and it's gonna be a good week. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good week. All right, man. You have a good one. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir. You too.
Later. All right, guys. Take a quick break, real quick. Just like a 1-minute break. We've been going for over an hour now. Use the restroom. We'll be right back. right, moving right along. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. We'll get to Christian, Benzo, then Raymond on the calls. See what you guys are saying. Glad T and Arch got smoked. Not so much pulling against the kid as much as the obnoxious fan base. That's exactly what it is. Honestly, like, I don't really hate players unless they're bad-mouthing us, and that doesn't usually happen. It's usually the fan bases that you're rooting against. That's usually how it works. Well said. Bevo's bodyguard is still in hiding. Reed looked more like his mobile self in the second half. I like how he was sitting in there and passing, though. I like how he was kind of holding off on the run a little bit and going through progressions, Bo. Really like that. Slightly less concerned with TU, slightly more concerned with LSU. Yeah, LSU's defense gave us reason to believe that they are a true contender this year. Either the defense or the O-line had to hit, and the defense hit for LSU. And I told y'all, I mean, I didn't really tell y'all. I told myself that I have LSU 9-3. That kind of a year, uncomfortable year for Brian Kelly and those expectations that they have this year. But if they go out and they win week 1, they have the ability to do that, I move them straight to title contender. I'm not even saying playoff. This is a title contending LSU team. We'll have our work cut out for us over there. All right. Let's get to Christian. You're on with Drew. How you feeling, Christian?
Hey, what's going on, Drew? Feel great, man. Yeah, I got to make it out to Kyle yesterday, game 1. So looking back at last year, it didn't really feel like football season started until I finally got out there like week 4. So getting that out the way week 1 felt great. But
yeah, same here.
Yeah, and then the cool thing was too, man. So being a student, and then anytime after that, I've kind of been in the lower sections, and you always feel like you're a huge part of the game. This was the first one that I was sitting up in the 400 section, and it was just, first of all, it's probably the best view for football, but then second of all, getting to kind of take a step back and get out of the like being so much a part of it and getting to just watch it from a bird's eye view. And I think you just can't say it enough how amazing Kyle Field is and how special and different it is from anywhere else. But then also just the production. I mean, the production's always been great, but it felt like they took a huge step with the lights, the media, like even between drives, like the little hype videos they did and stuff, and then the touchdown graphics and stuff. So yeah. I thought the media team, the production, everything took a step forward, and just wanted to see, like, was there anything that stood out to you when you were watching?
I mean, I freaking love the lights. I love the DJ. I love the music. I love I love the music he plays. I love the band. I mean, the band's always been great. They added Imperial March this year to the Fighting Texas Aggie band. Oh, that was pretty cool. But no, man, it was a great production, great intro. Power was electric. The flyover was electric. You had the women's tennis team come onto the field, which was awesome to recognize them. Oh man, I love the freaking the player like questionnaire they do around halftime. It was like, are you scared of the ocean or something? And Ashton Bethel Roman was just cutting up there saying, I'm scared of a whale. You don't even know if it's going to eat you. He eats you on accident. Oh, that was pretty funny. But no, man, it was a beautiful thing to watch. I actually love sitting kind of lower portion of the upper deck. I don't like being at the very top because I get a little uncomfortable, but I like sitting kind of lower portion upper deck. You can see everything. You're close enough to feel it, but you're far enough to kind of get that bird's eye view. That's kind of my ideal spot to watch, because you're right there on the sideline or in the student section. It's just pure energy and vibes, right? Like you're just kind of living it, right? You're not really analyzing. You're not really taking things in. You're feeling it. And I really I like that, man. I'm totally with you in that.
Yeah, no, so it was a great game. And then usually, you're waiting until October, November before you get great weather. And it was perfect.
My goodness, yeah.
Perfect experience. Again, yeah, even the DJ too. Yeah, music was way better. But so overall, the game, it was really fun. Close game in the beginning. I think the things that everybody knew kind of what to be on your toes about as far as just the UTSA offense and then us needing to get just into the flow of the game. I think everything turned out pretty much exactly how we thought by the end of it. But, I think we kind of broke down the game as much as we could, not getting too deep into a week 1 game, but just kind of trying to take a step back and looking at the landscape of college football and everything. Because I know going into last year, it's your first year with Elko, it's a new team, and you really don't have expectations for that. But I think you walked away from every single game all the way through week 8. I mean, the end of the season kind of what it was. But I think what really sold me on Elko and what's going to get me really hard to ever pull away from him is the fact that I saw things in week 1 that I said need to get better. Week 2, they were better. Things in week 2 need to get better. They were better in week 3. So it's just the consistent just growth on the team and everything and improvement that, I really do think Elko's the guy for the job. I don't think anybody's questioning that at all. But just the fact of it's only year 2, so it's really hard to put expectations on it. But I think that he is getting us in the right direction, and I wanted to see your thoughts, just stepping back from this game and just looking at college football. I think it's wide open this year, and a lot of times you have those genuine tier 1 step above the rest teams, and you have your 1Bs or your 2As, and you can go down the list, and we usually find ourselves somewhere in there. But I think the landscape of college football is so wide, and if this team can get to that progression of just weekly improvement, sound defense, and a really electric offense, like the way that we saw, like, I just want to see your thoughts just overall on the landscape of college football and where you think we could possibly end up. Not an expectation, but just what's, the most optimistic look. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with what you said about Elko, because you said there's always a response, and he always is able to find a way to address what needs to be addressed. And we saw that in a 1-game sample size in week 1, because he shut down the running attack. He shut down their offense because they were running on us. They were moving the ball on us, and then they just stopped. We just said, no more. 6 straight 3-and-outs in a row after you give up that big touchdown run. First of all, that's an adjustment. Second of all, that's finishing games, because you couldn't do that against Bowling Green last year. You couldn't do that against Arkansas last year. You couldn't do that against Mississippi State last year. And I'm not saying that this team, UTSA, is any one of those I just mentioned, but they could be close to that. They really could be close to that level of opposition this year, because they do have that kind of team coming back. And A&M was able to finish the fight. And that was the mantra all offseason: finishing games, finishing in big games, finishing close games, and finishing the season. And my season prediction, based on kind of what you were just pointing out, Elko's ability to adjust and adapt, is that we get better over the course of the year. We drop a couple games in the first half of the season, but we play our best football late this season, because I think Elko goes out and he does what he says, and he knows how to address and adjust. So stay healthy, keep getting better, keep chipping away. Yeah, great first run, I think. And yeah, I would agree. This game went exactly as expected for me, at least as a whole. Maybe there's always surprises in a week 1. But talking about the landscape, yeah, it's wide open, because you see, like, LSU, really good defensive stuff on the road versus Clemson. Win the game versus Clemson. Maybe they're better than expected. Still not a juggernaut. But maybe Texas is not as good as you expected. So there's give and take there. You see both sides of that thing in a week 1 sample size. And we'll see South Carolina and Notre Dame today. We'll have to wait until Florida plays a better opposition. We'll have to wait till Missouri and Arkansas play better opposition to get more judgment on them. But I totally agree. Not a lot of juggernauts out there. I mean, yeah, maybe Ohio State and Texas are 2 of the best teams, but I don't think either of those teams look perfect in a week 1. So there's opportunity to be had. I still have 9-3. That's still where I'm at. But at 9-3, you can go 10-2 and make the playoff. That's right there, attainable for you if you can go out there and just keep improving, see what happens.
Yeah, no, so I think just a lot of optimism for the season, just for the tenure that's coming up ahead of us. But I mean, that's pretty much all I got, man. Just wanted to see your how you felt, and then just wanted to give a shout out to Kyle Field and the production value of everything. Because like I said, the first time getting to see it from a bird's eye view, you get to kind of take a step out of the student body and get to take it all in. So I'll hang up and listen, man. But thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the call, Christian. Yeah, man, the fireworks, the light show, the fire, the band, everything is great there, man. Everything is great. The players love it. I don't think anybody was excited as the players were when they did that third quarter light show. I think the players are the ones that appreciate and love that the most, because they're right there living it. So it's really good to see that. Like, the players were hyped up when that was going on. It's good stuff for them. And it helps bring players to Kyle Field. It helps, the players that are visiting, the recruits that are visiting Kyle Field be like, okay, this is what I see myself being a part of. Benzo, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man? Good to hear from you.
Yo, what's going on?
Yo, man, I'm just happy we're here.
Man, I'm glad we're here too. It's been personally for me, it's been like one of the roughest summers I've had, but I'm just glad we're here.
Yeah, something to just, take your mind off of things. You get to just focus on Aggie football, for better or for worse. And I think right now there's some good stuff to be excited about and still stuff to improve on.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with everybody. It kind of has the same sentiment, like the same mindset as far as like the gas. Like they didn't fully go full throttle on this game, which is understandable.
Yeah. I mean, they only passed, really. They didn't give the full offensive look, and I thought they started the game slow. I think they were not focused to start this game up, and I think we saw that. And the game was close until like a third of the way through the third quarter. Then we blew it open. We got control of the thing after some adjustments, but yeah, it wasn't a full force A&M game, I wouldn't think. I don't think it was, but let's see. We have some areas to improve on. We have some areas to keep growing with, and we have some encouraging stuff too.
What was the story behind the I still need to watch like the third and fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I didn't get to finish the full game, but what's the story behind the color scheme with the running backs, with the Moss and Rubin?
What do you mean? Like the amount of reps they got, or what do you mean?
No, they had like gloves, like the different color gloves and shoes.
No, that's just them. They just want to wear that
okay.
stuff. That's just their style.
No, I thought they were doing something where like, okay, here's where you can target or something like. I don't know. It was just weird. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's just their flair.
Okay, I like that. But yeah, because I was like, it really stood out to me because then I was like, okay, I know Ruben's in.
Yeah,
or I know Moss is in.
Yeah. The Moss has always done it. Now Ruben's doing it.
Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool to get all 4 guys doing it.
Color per running back.
Man, no, I'm excited because, like, you know, everyone's been saying, like, everyone's impressed with Elko. You know, how his progression, his discipline. You know, you just see it off the paper and on the paper. But one also one thing that we're forgetting too. Well, not forgetting, but just not really speaking about is Moffitt. Is Tommy Moffitt still there?
Oh yeah, dude. We're definitely reaping the benefits there, man. Hey, I got to point this out now that you're talking about Moffitt. Knocking on wood. Week 1, no significant injuries, right? Nothing happened. We were healthy. And UTSA, this happens all the time when you're seeing the G5 versus Power 5, or Power 4. But they were getting players dropping pretty much every drive. A&M had no one down this game. I mean, I'm sure there's nicks and knacks coming out of it, but no players down for A&M in the game in week 1. I mean, how often do we ever see that for an A&M game, despite the opponent?
Yeah, because then you'll get like a cheap shot here or there.
Something always happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then also too, one thing that I'm interested in seeing is the Smith. What's the EJ Smith?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see like his strength progression throughout the year.
Yeah, we'll see, man. He was one of the guys that was highlighted in fall camp. He had a touchdown late in the game on an option play.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so like I said, a lot of people aren't talking. Like everyone, when he got into the program, everyone was like blowing him up. But now it's like he's quietly back in the background.
Yeah, we just got a deep room, man, and a lot of receivers now, so it's going to be a very equal share. He's at the tail end of it. You're going to see, I think, a lot of Ruben this year, and I think we'll see a lot more Amari. I think those 2 guys are probably the most healthy of the main guys, and then Le'Veon, I think, we'll probably see closer to a full workload second half of the year.
Mm-hmm. So so what I watched, I saw the Thor touchdown, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But if I can compare, like, because I was watching like the way they were playing, and it reminded me almost similar to like music wise, it reminded me like freestyle hip hop.
How so?
Where because it was just like super loose and like it's like almost like a jazz style freestyle hip hop type thing.
You know what? Offensively, I can see it because you just get the ball in guys' hands and let them just do what they need to do. I can see it. All right, Benzo, I'll take the off the cuff music comparison.
Yeah, because it was like, especially on that play particularly, it was like you had almost 3 options.
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay, what you want me to do? Like, all right, he's open. Let's go. I'm gonna tag him.
Yeah. Are you a music guy?
Oh yeah. I love music. Man.
There we go. Yeah, I like it.
But no, it was really refreshing just to see, just the ease of everything as far as like just everybody just easing into it, and the struggle with the defense. Okay, we could see that, but it's one of those things that's going to get addressed.
Yeah, and it was addressed, so let's hope it stays addressed.
Yeah. But no, man, I'm excited. I hope next week is awesome, and then I'm excited for the Notre Dame game. That's gonna be a spectacle.
I can't wait, man. I'll be here on the watch party. Hope everybody's here. Hope you're here.
Oh yeah.
All right, Benzo. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, thank you.
Adios. Elko was telling the world that you will not be able to fill the box versus our run game if they want to have a chance to beat the Aggies. I think there was some of that there. I think some of that was putting stuff on film to kind of just open things up, because teams are going to test A&M. They're going to test Marcel. And I think he really wants to get on film by the time we get to Notre Dame that you better respect this passing game. You better respect KC Concepcion. You better give Mario Craver and Terry Bussey his attention. And I think ABR has it coming too. I think ABR is on the way. I think Bussey's going to keep getting games like this. I think this game, pretty good indicator of what we'll get from Bussy. I think he's just going to kind of be that other guy that gets productive plays. He's not going to be the focal point. And that's probably good for him at this point. And who knows what that develops into over the course of the year as he gets more and more broken into this thing. But yeah, I definitely sense that, Duke, because Notre Dame plays tonight, then they get the bye week next week, and they're going to have 2 weeks looking at A&M film. And A&M's going to flood that film room with a bunch of Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, Terry Bussy, ABR. And they're going to be like, but A&M's a running team. So when they come to South Bend, what are we selling out for? What are we doing? I think it's good stuff to put on tape. Just add a little bit of doubt there. Add a little bit of, they've probably been thinking, okay, we got to stop running against A&M all offseason. Let's make them think a little bit more about this. But I think that's a smaller chunk of it than the reality that I think A&M just wants to break their passing game in. I think just getting Marcel loose and lathered in this passing attack that needs to be highlighted with these athletes out there, that might be the best part of your team. I think they just need to break it in. I think that was part of it too. But it works in both directions, Duke. Good point. Running game concerns. We wanted to establish the ability to pass, and more specifically, the O-line was a personnel experiment most of the game. Yeah, we actually did the Zune at center thing this game. All right. Raymond, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
Drew, I'm good, man. Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Awesome, man. Man, it was what a day yesterday, huh? It started with the Lee Corso thing. What a production that was. Can I just say, like, way to send that guy off was pretty tear-jerking, huh?
Honestly, dude, I was teary-eyed for major portions of that College game day, man. That dude is so special to me. I don't know, like, I love this sport. I love football. I love college football. I think he probably took it to another level for me growing up, specifically just childhood, looking at Corso, always looking forward to the headgear. And then to see him get sent off like that in the middle of Ohio State, in the middle of the horseshoe where it all started, and him getting the headgear prediction correct and getting his super dog pick correct that was his alma mater in Florida State. I mean, come on, man.
And all of his teams that he coached all winning yesterday, too.
Come on now. I know, man. It's
college
awesome.
Football gods lining up, man.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And if you or anybody who was ever lucky enough when game day was in Aggie land to watch the show, watch the production live, I mean, it was something special. And I mean, he was a huge part of that, that entire thing. It was awesome.
Yeah, and back in the day, it was just him, Herbstreit, and Fowler, and Corso drew crowds. Everyone wanted to come see what Corso was going to pick. And before he did the fake outs, which kind of started happening in the 2000s, there was like the Corso curse in the 90s. It was like, if Corso picks your team, you're doomed.
That's right.
That's like, you're screwed. But then it became like the fake out, like what's Corso going to do? And that kind of evolved into that in the 2000s. So he is the origin of what College Game Day is. Because that was just a studio show in like the early 90s, 94 to 96, I think. They started taking it on the road, and Corso drew a damn crowd.
That's right. And it was pretty awesome to see. And, now that, Saban's there, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, man, it was awesome. And looking at the Aggie game, or before I get in there, I guess also just what a day also, just to, besides the Aggies win, you got the team in Austin that loses, and then you got Kalen DeBoer feeling the smoke in Alabama.
It's really uncomfortable over there now.
Yeah, man. So just an all around pretty great day of football,
It was, man. We get more today too.
I know, yeah. Like I heard what you were saying. I was going to call in to talk about the Notre Dame game, but you just kind of touched it, and and that's what I love about the idea of doing the shows on Sunday, man. It's pretty great, getting the recap, looking forward. I think it's a great idea, and it's going to be cool scouting Notre Dame, because they got that Miami game, then they got that bye week, so you can afford you're going to see what actual what's going to look like versus the Aggies today later on tonight. So that's going to be good. In that vein, what are you looking at? I know you did the preseason preview for Notre Dame, and that was awesome. For this game today with Miami, I know they got the running back. He's going to be a stud, and they got they got talent all around. Every NFL's kid is in this Notre Dame school.
Yeah.
Seems like. What are you looking at for the quarterback for Notre Dame? Because I'm not really familiar with that guy, but I know they lost their last year's guy. So
yeah, Yeah, I did a fair amount of scouting on Notre Dame. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but here's my opinion on like game one for Notre Dame. I think CJ Carr has to perform in this game because I think Miami's weakness, it has been their secondary. And Miami should be pretty strong up front on both sides of the football. And I think Notre Dame is too. But I think the hole that Notre Dame's going to be looking at is some of the passing stuff that they could get with this new look receiver room they have. They bring back Greathouse, but they bring back a couple of really good transfers. Will Pauling from Wisconsin has been a fall camp standout for them, and they're looking at him kind of like how we're looking at Craver, a guy that can take the top off their offense. But they're breaking in a new quarterback on the road, and I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough game for Notre Dame because I do think Miami, like I said, is tough in the trenches. So it's going to be a great test for CJ Carr. CJ Carr is more of a pocket passer. He has some athleticism like most do. But he's a guy that's like a gunslinger, right? He's going to try to fit the ball in the tight windows. He's going to try to lead receivers open. He's a very courageous thrower of the football. Will make mistakes, willing to make mistakes to make big plays. So it's going to be real interesting to see how he handles it on the road. And I'm curious to see the running attack, right? Like, they're missing a player on the offensive line. They always fill in great. Let's see what it is against a Miami that's going to be somewhat of a similar look to A&M. I think A&M is a better secondary than Miami. But I'm curious to see how this looks on the road for Notre Dame. I don't think it's going to be a totally smooth outing for Notre Dame against Miami on the road. I'm curious about Notre Dame's interior defensive line. I feel really good about Notre Dame's defensive ends. They have a lot of talent defensive end room, like superstar, five-star talent in the defensive end group. Look out for two guys. Bryce Young, not the quarterback. They have a five-star defensive end named Bryce Young. Then they have, I forget his first name, but his last name's Traore, and he's another like Adonis, Greek god-looking defensive end. Those are two guys that can make it happen. But interior defensive line, they lost their two best guys last year. They bring back a lot of guys that have played, but I think they have to prove it against an offensive line at Miami that's always good. So I think it's going to stress Notre Dame in a lot more ways than A&M was stressed versus UTSA. And I think Notre Dame is going to have to put a lot more on tape than A&M will be by the time they play that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just curious your thoughts as well as to like if you had like could see the future, would you think that it's best that Notre Dame takes this game? So that way we get. I mean, regardless, we're going to get the scouting on tape. But you think we want Notre Dame? It's been more beneficial for the Aggies if they lose or if they win, or it doesn't really matter. Do you think?
I think the responsible answer is it doesn't really matter. Go play your game. But personally, just thinking of intangibles, I kind of want Notre Dame to win. Just, you get more credit for winning. You get more grace for losing if Notre Dame's undefeated in that game. And these are the two toughest games on their schedule for Notre Dame. It's like Miami, A&M. Then the schedule's not easy, but it's very manageable afterwards. So it's like you want Notre Dame to be capable of winning one of those games, then go show that you can do it, or you lost to a team that was able to do it. Also, they have to win one of them to make the playoff. They cannot lose both and make the playoff this year. There's not enough meat on their schedule, and they don't have a conference championship game to boost them at the end. So they have to win one. If they lose to Miami, they're going to come in desperate, angry, charged against A&M. And they probably will regardless, but that just adds a little bit of that intangible to them. So I'm going for the Notre Dame win tonight.
I got you, man. That makes sense. I hear you. I think I'm in the same vein as you are. I think I'm feeling that same way. But yeah, man, great show as always, man. Looking forward to the Aggies, man. Keeping it up. Had a great game. Everything I think was said, previous callers and you, job well done. And man, the explosiveness, it's exciting to see. First game jitters, out of the way. It's gonna, I expect this team to shaping up, especially on the defensive end. Like we saw those holes, I expect that to be addressed. But yeah, man, it's exciting.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate the call, Raymond. You have a good one, man.
Likewise, man.
All right, guys. That is our last caller on the show. Any final questions? Throw them in the chat right now. I can go a little bit longer in the chat. Anybody wants to chat in anything else? Any final points? But I think we got it pretty much covered, man. We got it pretty much covered. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really like this show, this Sunday slot. I don't know if we keep it on Sunday or if we do it after the game on Saturdays if we're capable. What do y'all prefer? Because I can go after the games on Saturdays if I'm watching the game from home. I was just at the game yesterday. I got home at 2, so I couldn't do it. Any final questions in the chat? Throw them in now. All right, Christian B., thanks for coming by, man. I look forward to seeing you in the future. You had some really good points today. I really appreciate you coming in, Christian. I know you're probably already out of here. Call in, Jeb. Call in. Do it. I'll take one more call, Jeb. Looking forward to SC today. Yeah, man. It's going to be a big one. I think it's going to be the Lenore show. If Bama doesn't make the playoffs, their fan base will turn into an angry mob. Dude, it's an angry mob right now, and it's going to be hard for them to scrape in after losing game 1 before even touching SEC play. The shuttle-type touchdown to Thor showed the creativity that I hope to see more from Colin Klein. I know, and we'll see more of it in the bigger games, I would think. Le'Veon Cleat Color says he doesn't do it for... He does this for his son to see him on TV. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't hear that. That's cool. That's good to know. It makes sense. And actually, looking back, I think I do remember him saying that. Someone asked him about like the crazy cleats he wears at practice and the gloves and stuff. Yeah, I like that. I think we showed like 65% of the offense. Well, yeah, man. I mean, 65% of the offense was just pure passes, so we have a lot of running stuff we haven't showed yet. So hoping the run D will be ready for Notre Dame. I still give Notre Dame the advantage even if we play our best game in run D, but we can at least prevent it from being a glaring hole that gives us a chance to win the game. Yo, Jeb, how you feeling?
I guess I feel all right. How was the atmosphere last night? How were the new LED lights?
Honestly, dude, it was fantastic. I was second row of upper deck, so I had a really, really good seat. I was in the corner because tickets were a little cheaper there. But second row, upper deck, you can see everything. The lights were great. They got better and better as the game got later and darker because it's still August, so the days are long. But late third, fourth quarter, they were awesome. They did the light show late. Players loved it. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, I actually don't mind sitting up top at Kyle Field just because, like, you get a good view of the stadium. You can see what's going on, so I don't mind it sometimes.
Yeah. I actually enjoy it. I know when you're down there, like the previous caller Christian was saying, you feel like you're in the game more. But up top, you get to see the game more.
Yeah, man. Something about watching the Maroon just felt right. Like being at the Baylor game Friday, it just made me really miss. It really made me miss Kyle Field a little bit.
Oh, dude, I'd love to get your take on that game. Here's how I feel. I didn't watch it super closely, but here's what I thought. I thought they relied. Auburn has a good running attack, right? Like it's going to be good. I think Cam Coleman was kind of a no-show that game, wasn't he?
You said Cam Coleman? I think he had one big catch. That's all I remember. It
seemed like they were a running-oriented team, but it really seems like everything in that offense stems from quarterback run, and I do not know how sustainable that's going to be. It looked good. It worked really well for them against Baylor, but going through a SEC slate, I don't know how much punishment Jackson Arnold's be able to take. It's going to be real interesting to watch, but as it stands right now, it looked pretty effective.
Yeah, I will say this. There were a lot of bad calls in that game. I think that really prevented Baylor to win.
I noticed that.
Pretty obvious. So I'm gonna make a statement. To say games aren't fixed, I'm gonna say that right now.
You think games are fixed?
I think games are fixed.
Don't ruin my fantasy, Jeb. I hate that.
I think games are fixed. There's too much money involved. But anyways, as a guy who likes Baylor, living close to Waco, I was never really high on them. I know the media kind of was, but Baylor's just not one of those schools. They're a small D1 school. They just don't produce the talent like A&M and Texas does now, right?
Yeah.
So going against they were playing well. Jackson Arnold, I didn't know he was a running guy, man. They couldn't stop the run at all.
Yeah.
I don't know how good they're going to be in the SEC. If that's going to be, like you said, sustainable. Their passing game wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I mean, Baylor was supposed to have a good defense this year, so maybe their defense is all right. But a lot of bad calls. Auburn squeaked a win. Maybe love A&M even more.
Pretty nasty out there, huh?
Yeah, I was like, man, I could pay all this money just to watch them lose. But I love the McLean Stadium. It's really fun. It's not as impressive as obviously Kyle Field, but it's still a good time. I like Baylor. I like the gold helmets. They brought back the gold helmets after being in purgatory.
Yeah, plus you were at a football game opening Friday. That's part of just getting into the college football year.
I had an amazing time, but unfortunately for Baylor, they couldn't get the dub. I sat next to a lot of Auburn fans, so that usually happens to me. Hey, let me ask you a question. Does this ever happen to you? Because I feel like I'm cursed when it comes to going to live games. Every time I go to a game, dude, I swear the section I'm sitting in, there's always somebody sitting in the wrong seat. Has that ever happened to you?
So, yes, all the freaking time. I feel like I'm just like a sardine cheek to cheek getting compressed, and it sucks, dude. It's the worst. It ruins a game. It ruins a game. For me, I feel claustrophobic. I'm uncomfortable. I get cramped. My back starts hurting. I hate it. Because of that, I pay extra to get the seat back chairs at Kyle Field now.
Oh, that's where, dude, it happened to me at the LSU game last year. Like,
It happened at the
entire
Bama game in 23.
Right.
It happened. I stopped doing it. It happened a lot in 23. I went to another game with my now wife, and there were like 3 people extra in our row, and they snuck in a bunch of Miller Lights in their hoodies, and they were just like drunk right next to us, stinky, and it was terrible. So I just went to standing room only. I should have called the ushers on them, but I ain't no snitch. I just went and stood.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I will say this. As you know, I should have
squealed.
Back in college, I would have let it slide, right? But now that I'm older, you know, in my late 20s, I'm like, dude, I don't mind touting. It's like, dude, I paid money for these seats. Because, okay, so what happened was, like, you know, I got to my row, and I think there's a group of college kids, and I think they had more than what they were supposed to have, and they just invited people. And, like, at one point, we, like, couldn't sit down. I'm like, am I in the wrong seats? And, like, I would talk to the guy next to me, and he was just very nonchalant about it. But I was like, dude, if it gets bad, I'm going to have to squeal on you.
Yeah. I think my wife sends like to the helpline, like, hey, we have people here intoxicated, extra people in the row. But sometimes they don't even respond though. Sometimes they just like come and look and leave, and it's like nothing really happens. But that's why I get the seat backs now. I always go like bottom row, north end zone, bottom section, upper deck, north end zone's my go-to.
Nice. It's happened to me every time. Even last year at the Cowboys Stadium, I went to watch the Archie game. Someone was like sitting in our seats. Like we sat in the very middle, so it's kind of a bitch to get into.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Like I was like, am I crazy, man? Am I crazy?
I hate bleacher seats, man. I just don't do it. I just can't do it.
They actually weren't that bad. I sat in bleachers for the Baylor game. It actually wasn't that bad, surprisingly.
Yeah. I'm a bigger guy too, so sitting like with no seat support, it's just like, oh my gosh.
I get it. I'm not like as tall as you, but I have broad shoulders. So
yeah.
I can relate. But I mean, the game last night, saw a lot of goods, saw some things that definitely concern me. I know it's week 1. I know teams are very rusty, you know, and I feel like I'll say as you know, being around athletes during college, it's hard to motivate guys when you're going up against a team you know you're probably going to beat the hell out of.
Yeah.
So that can be a situation. Dude, run defense. I know you've talked about it, but run defense scares me a little bit, man.
It's not going to be a strength.
It scares me a little bit. Even going into this year, even before this game, I just wasn't extremely high on our D tackle room. I think we got so spoiled with Jimbo and all the 5-star talent we were bringing in that this is kind of like a rebuild year for that.
Yeah.
And the pass rush looked good. I mean, the defense looked fast. They were kind of swarming on certain sides, but in the D tackle room, man, I just don't know because you had Regis. He had a pretty decent game. Regis he's a solid player for us, but he's just not an all-pro. He's not a guy you want to lean on, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, what we're going to have this year and what we can expect from these D tackles, I think Onyedem was actually pretty active in the game too. He chased a lot of plays down too.
Yeah, I saw that.
What we just need is these guys to hold their own, hold space. We don't need game wreckers right now. What we need is someone to help this good linebacker group go to work. And Marcus Ratcliffe go to work. He's basically a linebacker for us right now.
Oh, dude, he had a hell of a game. I didn't realize Dalton Brooks didn't play.
Yeah. That'll factor into the run stop. But basically, I don't see us having like that bruiser, like nose tackle, destructive kind of guy we talk about all the time. But we do have a pretty good back seven. We have a pretty damn good back seven.
Yeah,
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
And we just have to do enough to let those guys make plays on the D line.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going against Notre Dame. I mean, we're gonna find out how good Notre Dame is tonight, but
can't wait.
It makes me a little. I'm excited. I think I have a feeling our offense might be better than our defense this year, which is like weird to say.
I expect that. I expect that, Jeb.
So we're gonna have to probably score a lot of points in some situations.
I'm bullish on the chances of being able to do that, though. Like, if we get the running game to go with what we saw in those receivers, I mean, this thing could be really good.
Why was the running game pretty stout? I mean, were they just loading up the box?
So yeah, they were really bringing DBs in to attack the running game. So even if we had numbers and we blocked our guys in the box, and they were matching number for number in the box as they should,
right.
But they were bringing in a safety and a nickel to fill gaps really, really aggressively. So there was always someone there that we couldn't get to. And the couple of big run plays we had were by way of Reuben Owens making a guy miss at the second level, not even the third level, and then busting it out for like a 30-yard gain. And then Le'Veon just kind of running around the pile and just kind of breaking an angle and getting a few extra yards. So
right.
they were just selling out for it, and A&M, I think, just wanted to pass the ball this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you tune up your passing game, against these teams like these inferior teams like this. So I knew we weren't going to run the ball heavy.
Yeah.
The first two drives did scare me a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, what are they doing?
We were so sloppy in the first two offensive drives.
Right.
That was what scared me. I was like, oh my goodness, is this what it's going to be like all game? Like we need the offense, even against UTSA, to outpace this team because they're going to score a little bit.
I was like, Drew, you just sat here and told me how bad their defense was going to be.
Honestly, though, one of the things, though, because it was, and someone talked about this in the postgame presser, I think Marcel and Elko talked about this, it was the same coaching staff for their defense, but it was 11 new players, and they ran a different defense than they did before. It was a totally different defense. Gotcha. So there was definitely an adjustment there, but we were also just sloppy early. We were very sloppy.
Week one matchups are always nerve-wracking because you don't know if teams are just like not as motivated and they're just kind of like rusty from not playing a full year.
Yeah.
Or if like you don't know if like this is just who they are.
Yeah.
It's very nerve-wracking. Like obviously teams get better, teams can get worse throughout the season. It's week one. You don't want to overreact.
Yeah.
But there's some good things. Offense looks more explosive. Really, I wish some more receivers got involved. Like I think Nye Black only had like one catch. Bethel Roman only had one catch, I think.
Well, one of the reasons that we didn't see more, and a lot of guys got like at least a single catch, but 8 to Craver, 3 to Concepcion, 3 to Theo. Theo started slow, but he ended up having a pretty good game. But I think one of the problems was we gave up a couple of long sustained drives early when we had our ones on offense still. So we had some time taken away from when we could maybe be getting some more guys involved. Let me see the time of possession battle. They won it by 7 minutes.
Right, that's right. I think they had more yards than us in the first half, right?
In the first half, yes. We passed them in the second half. I think we held them to like 15 yards until the last drive of the game, not including the 75-yard touchdown.
That last tutty was so gross, man. I'm sorry.
I knew they were going to do it. I called that. I knew Jeff Traylor wanted to do it. I knew Jeff Traylor wanted it.
It made no sense because they called a timeout around the last drive. They called a timeout and then did a handoff. I was like, why would you call a timeout and then run a handoff? I was like, okay, they're being conservative. And then he throws the bomb, and guess who it was against? It was
Javen, wasn't it?
Javion Thomas, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm kind of
dude.
Done with
here's a good thing, though. Here's the good thing. Des Ricks, I'm gonna pull up his stats. I didn't see anything happen on Des Ricks' side.
They actually threw it on Will Lee's sides more. And completed a couple passes.
Because what they were doing is anytime someone wasn't in press coverage, they were running the RPO slant to that player. And just by way of the coverage, that's going to give you receptions. It was Tyreek Chappelle a couple times, too.
Jeff Traylor's a hell of a coach because they schemed it up so well because the times where we blitzed, they wanted to, avoid our pass rush. They threw screens all night. They did RPOs.
Or they ran away from the blitz and got big chunks off our blitz.
Yeah, that's what you do, man. Against teams that are just so much more talented than you, you got to get the ball out fast. You got to throw more screens, RPOs, all that stuff. It works, man. We struggled with it for a little bit.
Yeah. Let me see here. I want to read off the coverage stats for Des Ricks. Des Ricks, PFF, 4 targets, 0 receptions to Des Ricks' guy. That's huge. We didn't get that last year, even against inferior opposition. I mean,
that's true.
That's very encouraging. Will Lee got targeted a bunch and only 1 reception on him, but to get a reception on Will Lee is still a big win, I think. And that was an RPO slant over him. Chappelle was targeted 6 times, 5 receptions. That was literally their game plan, was that slot receiver RPO. And Tyreek was the one there.
Whew. Okay. I mean, I'm just glad we got it done. UTSA is a respectable team. They're a respectable team. I'll give them their flowers.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it, man. They got good scheme. They got good players on offense. Defense hung tough for a couple of possessions, but then we kind of took over the game.
I would have felt a little bit better if they would have scored 1 more touchdown.
Yeah, we stalled a little bit in that third quarter, and that was too bad. I wish we would have gotten 1 more.
I was like, put up 49, and I'll feel a little better about the score. Or even 42-17, I would have been fine with, I guess.
Yeah, it should have been 42-17, but they had that freaking backdoor.
Ah, man.
Ooh, I want to see what happened late. Was there a penalty late that stalled one of our drives? Because we punted a couple times late in the game.
Possibly. I know we had a couple.
Oh no, Miles O'Neal went in last 2 minutes. That was a punt drive. We scored a touchdown with a minute to go in the game. That's pretty nice.
Nice.
Marcel. It was the Nybet Black drive, EJ Smith option touchdown. Yeah. Okay. So one of the drives in the fourth quarter, I felt like we could have scored. We did have the holding by the receiver that held us back, and we ended up punting.
I saw that. Man, did you catch any of the other games yesterday?
So those two drives I was talking about, the stall, those were both penalty drives. So penalties killed us there. But anyway, I caught the end of the LSU game. I haven't watched it. I'm going to rewatch it. Defense held up for LSU. It's encouraging for them. I watched the entire Texas game. I was driving though, so I was mostly listening to it. But Arch struggled, man. The quarterback lost him the game.
Where's the Bevo bodyguard at in the chat? Is he in the chat or is he hiding?
Absent.
I don't want to. Yeah, I'll rant a little bit about Texas. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm one of those dudes. I'm gonna rip a new one.
I'm not that guy, so go ahead. I want to see A&M do everything before I say a word. But go ahead.
Yeah. This is an overreaction. Obviously, it's week 1. It's a quality opponent. Ohio State. You can say what you want about Ohio State. They brought back a lot of. They were replacing a lot of new guys, but Ohio State, you gotta respect them. They got elite talent. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what happens, man. This is why you don't overhype one dude. You don't rank your number one team off of one dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. I respect the guy. Like I said, he's not like a punk or anything. He's handled it very well. He seems like a very soft-spoken guy. But I was like, the evidence is, was kind of there. Because I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. He's a huge Longhorn fan. I said we saw Arch Manning last year. I watched him against the Mississippi State team. He struggled the first half of that game. And then obviously their depth took over. Georgia, they put him in the Georgia game. He did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, it's not his fault, obviously, but the fan base, and it's just hilarious to me because now the fan base is like making all these excuses and all these moral victories, which every fan base does. But it's like, no, you can't crown this guy the king for 3 years. And then when he plays bad and you make excuses like, well, yeah, dude, he's probably nervous, man. There's a lot of pressure on him to be really good.
Yeah, I'll say this. He was never going to live up to the magnitude that the hype train got to.
No.
Even if he was a Heisman contender this year, he was never going to be as good as what people were envisioning for him. But I don't think it's done yet, man. He went through a buzzsaw on the road, really good defense, one of the best ever, best programs in the country. He's going to get right. He's going to be fine. He's just not going to live up to the insane hype that they had. That's fine. It'll still be. They can still make the playoff if he doesn't. That's not necessary.
Yeah, it's just week 1. I'm sure he can get better throughout the season. They do play Florida, I think, their first matchup for SEC, and that's going to be a good one. But
yeah, it is. That's a huge game for them now. Massive.
And some of the play calling in that game was really bad, too, by Sark. I'll give him that.
I felt like he was protecting Arch early in that game. It was very bland, very vanilla. There wasn't a lot of that Sark misdirection stuff to get receivers running in space. But the thing is, when plays were there, Arch was missing. So he just kind of – if they have Quinn Ewers, they win that game, I think. It's just breaking in the young guy on the road. It's not – you can't just say, okay, he's Arch Manning. He's going to go be the hero. You're breaking in a young quarterback on the road at Ohio State. That's what happened.
He's more of like inexperienced. He's been in that system for 3 years now.
Yeah, but it's still a first road start, first big game, all on his shoulders. It's like that's something that no one is gonna barely anybody lives up to that.
Yeah.
And the hype train was out of control.
As outside fans, we all knew that, but the fan base is trying to backtrack now. But it's like, no, y'all are part of it, man. Y'all are feeding into this. Even your brother at times. I'm like, you got to look at Texas. Yeah, we all think Sark is a very good coach, but Texas is breaking a new O-line. Their receiving core on paper very talented, but they're very inexperienced. And you saw it yesterday.
The team's going to take time. The team is going to take time to come around and be what they can be, and I think they will. But it was a lot to expect right away.
Yeah, I didn't have them beating Ohio State. I was the only guy who said I think Ohio State gets it out just because they're at home.
I thought Ohio State had more hurdles than Texas even did. Same conversation, I think. I just think they had the better quarterback play.
I think Texas's defense is definitely going to carry them this year like they did last year. The thing that kind of surprised me the most was Texas's pass rush. It was kind of non-existent.
Yeah.
I was a little.
I would say though it was they weren't dropping back that much though. It was a run-oriented attack on both sides.
And Texas, and I think Ohio State was able to get pressure over the 4-man front most of the time. So it was all nerves. Like I said, he could be very good. We'll see how he looks against Florida. They have 3 cupcakes, I think, in a row.
Yes.
But they started with the Swamp. That's going to be a great matchup. Lagway and Arch Manning.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, so I'm picking apart a little. I read a little bit about that because I was like, see, this is what happens. They did the same thing to Garrett Gilbert. Not as much as Arch, but if y'all remember Garrett Gilbert, he was a big-time recruit for Texas, 15 years ago. He was supposed to be the man. Like, he played pretty well in that Bama National Championship game, taking over for Colt McCoy, and then he became a bust.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you overhype players, man, before they even really get a fully, head of steam. You can't do that. You're going to ruin them.
Yep, and I don't wish that upon Arch. I hope obviously as a rival, I hope Texas doesn't make the playoff, and I hope we beat them. But I don't wish that fate for Arch Manning.
Same thing.
It's a lot of that's out of his hands. He can't control his last name.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Connor Wigman too. I think that's a fan base. We put a little bit of pressure on him to be.
Oh,
really
we
good.
did. We absolutely did. I'm guilty of it. I was last year. Me too. I was like, this offense not super exciting, but you have this quarterback that can carry you, and it just
that can elevate you. Yeah,
and that was too much.
Tex Aggs ranked him as our #1 player on the team. Like, we put a lot of pressure on him. So I don't know. Houston played Thursday night. I don't know if he played well or not.
I think he had a couple of good passes. I didn't watch it, but. Yeah, man. All right, Jeb, closing thoughts. I got to get Noble on, then I got to get out of here.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good. I've just been going for 2 hours
hopefully this is a little bit of taste. Hopefully we tweak all the adjustments, and hopefully we Utah State. I'm expecting a way better game against a lesser opponent. They better score fucking 50, dude.
This is a big step down from UTSA. This is a big step down. UTSA is a real program, man. They're a real G5 program.
Right.
Utah State is not on that level. They had some quality stuff. Yeah, let me pull it up. I think they had like a 3-year bowl streak. And we're talking about bowl streaks here. Whereas UTSA won the freaking American back-to-back years, like in 22 and 23. This is a real program.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me see.
Because A&M, we used to play Utah State all the time as a kid growing up. We played them a couple times in the 2000s.
Aggies versus Aggies.
Yes, sir. And so, I'm glad it's a morning game. Kind of get it out the way.
What is this? I can't get this off. Okay, let's see. I think last year they did not make. What is happening? There we go. This is crazy. All right, I think Utah State last year, not a good year. They had a down year last year.
Okay.
4-8 last year. I don't know much about them, obviously, as a smaller G5 school.
Oh yeah, I mean neither do I. I just know they used to be decent.
This thing is glitching out on me, but I'm gonna look at 23 as well. I think they made a bowl in 23. Yeah, 6-7, lost their bowl game. Yeah, they're decent, but not UTSA decent. But all right, Jeb, you have a good one, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, later.
All right. We end it with Noble. Noble, are you feeling all right, man? You said you're a little hungover.
Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend and opening weekend of college football, so it's a lot to celebrate. So I had our buddies from high school coming back in town, and we kind of do this every year where we just get together and watch the game. The funny thing is that, like, because it's such a celebration, by the time we get to your own games, it's kind of hard to pay attention because you're just fighting for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will be honest. Like I watched some highlights as well. I did watch the game, of course, but I can't go into deep analysis of it just yet until I review the game. But
yeah,
as far as general overviews, passing game that's early game season jitters, and our passing game looks like the pickups of Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, instant payoff.
Yeah.
Great job there. I guess the UTSA was just selling out for the run. So that part was weird because we didn't really run it, but we were also much more feeding the passing game. So we'll have Utah State to warm up our run game next week. We'll see if that's really an issue or not. Run defense, that's got beat to death. I can't speak any more on that without having to look at the game film. So, but our secondary looked great. That was awesome.
It did.
Yeah, so that's very it's funny. I think we improved at all the areas that we wanted to improve at, and now we're just all right, let's see how many holes are in the dam that we can plug up before we actually get to Notre Dame.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I know the running game. I expect Notre Dame to have some success in that regard against us, but if we can build on whatever we did there in that 6 straight possessions of 3 and outs, if we can bring that to Utah State and bring it to Notre Dame, it's going to give us a chance. If we just have to be on time, we have to be gap sound, because we don't feel like we have that dominant D-line, but we can have a fairly effective D-line that can help the back 7 out.
The RPO kind of slicing and dicing is a little bit concerning because what's his name, the OC for Notre Dame is definitely going to pick up on that because he he kind of attacked us a similar way last year too, of quick passes to neutralize our pass rush.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked against us again. So we got to see how. I think Chappelle just knocking off some, early season rust as well. But that was something I noticed as
and part of that is like a veteran quarterback that's very just solid in his pregame his pre-play checks, his adjustments, knowing where the stress points are, and he knew where his windows were going to be, and they just hit like the systematic windows when they were available. Like if there's a guy sagging off, there's a guy not in press coverage, you're going to run the slant RPO right at that guy, just get him a free look. And you have the quarterback to do that. And I'd have to look and see how A&M adjusted to stop the RPO in the second half. They certainly stopped the run by getting out of that blitz look, but they effectively stopped the RPO in the second half too. So that's on tape. That adjustment being on tape is to Notre Dame's advantage. But I anticipated that UTSA was going to force us to put stuff on tape defensively. I think that was always going to happen. So we'll see the week-to-week adjustment where we go from here.
Yeah. And then I'll whenever you have the next show, I'll do a little deeper dive into what I see that Texas A&M did. But like I said, I was kind of like at the end of the day, like because I was with a bunch of my friends, like the A&M versus UTSA wasn't the primetime game.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of the LSU Clemson because my buddy was an LSU guy, and obviously watched the earlier game. So I'd like to kind of go over around the country real quick.
Sure.
Just from a national point of view. So first of all, massive, like the 11 o'clock. Like, very impressive by Ohio State. Like, I took Texas to win just because of the continuity of their staff.
Yes.
And I figured, like, they didn't need Arch Manning to win. As it turns out, they did.
Yep.
And Ohio State reloaded. It was insane. Like, their defense was, like, it looked like they didn't miss a beat, even with replacing all those players. And Julian Sayings looks good.
Yeah, he did.
He looks really good. Like, half the incompletions he made were just dropped passes that hit the receiver in the hands. It was quite like it was something to see against like a very impressive Texas defense. And then that was another part was that like, yeah, Texas lost, so but they also lost to Ohio State on the road, so we can't make fun of them too much. That's a really good game, really good team. I think Ohio State's gonna have a shot at the championship again. I didn't really think about that at the beginning of the season. I'm about to rethink a lot of things after this first week, actually.
Yeah, LSU's a contender in my mind now. A real contender.
LSU is 100% contender. Their defense is scary good. I did not think they were going to be that good that early.
Yeah.
And unless Clemson just kind of falls off a bridge, LSU's like that's going to be a tough one. Like their DBs were flying around, their linebackers, their defense is aggressive. They didn't give Klubnik a whole lot of time. Klubnik still got the passes off to the receivers, and maybe this was on the receivers, maybe it was on the DBs, maybe it was on both. But the receivers couldn't come down with the passes, and so I'm hoping that like A&M's receivers are a step up because I know Clemson lost their top receiver weapon early in the game, and then none of the other players could just fill in the gap. But like the Clemson got the score was 17-10, but like really like they called back a touchdown essentially, or what should have been a touchdown, and they also and then Clemson is LSU could just do whatever. And so it didn't really feel as close as it did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like LSU's.
Yeah, I haven't watched it closely, but I heard LSU made some weird decisions, some weird mistakes. Like they could have kicked a field goal before the half to separate that thing a little bit. A couple of strange decisions, but that defense doing what they did, I know there's a world where like you have to look at this thing kind of even keeled because it could be that Clemson is not the same Clemson without that guy, without Maffa. And that could be the case too. But for LSU to even slow that iteration down with the defense we've been getting from LSU the past few years, that's a sign, right? That's a sign of LSU heading in the right direction.
Yeah, they're definitely headed the right direction. Like, because their offense will get better. Like, they're going to do better than 17 points.
Yeah.
The receivers only caught like.
Noble, I'm losing you a little bit.
Auburn's better too. Auburn looks better too.
Auburn looks better.
Friday game. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you right now.
Oh. Yeah. Auburn looked better. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Baylor just didn't play very well or not, but like at least on the defensive side. But like Auburn's offense looks pretty legit. The Jackson kid, we're gonna have to learn how to do QB contain, which is Baylor never learned. So a lot of all our opponents look way harder now than we could have anticipated earlier in the preseason. I think is what I kind of gathered from it.
Yeah, we'll see with Texas though. Maybe their offense will level below I would have expected, but they got a lot of time to get that thing right.
Yeah, we'll play them week 12, so that's the thing. Like, whatever, like they'll be their best form of the best form by the time we get them. So that's less than ideal, but hopefully we'll round up into shape as well.
Yep, looking forward to a big kind of just feel good performance this week versus Utah State. All right, Noble, I gotta go. I appreciate you calling in, man. You hang in there, all right? You hang in there. You recover.
We're fighting. All right, peace out, everybody. Hey, thanks for letting us call in.
Yes, sir. Later. All right, guys. Thanks for being here, guys. Make sure you drop a like, drop a sub. Shout out to RHOBACK for sponsoring the channel. 20% off your first purchase with code Drewtamu. They just dropped a new A&M shirt, so go check it out. A new one to their A&M line. Links in the description. Guys, I got to get out of here. We've been going for over 2 hours. I love this Sunday slot. Mark it on your calendar. Sunday morning, we're going live after games. There will be limited coverage this week because I have like a family event this coming weekend. So I'm going to resume normal coverage for the Notre Dame week. We'll be back probably Monday after the Utah State game. I'll go live again this week. I'll drop a couple of videos this week, but I will not be bringing you any weekend coverage for Utah State this weekend because I have a personal trip. But after that, we're full systems go for Notre Dame. We're going to have a watch party here for Notre Dame. It's the real kickoff for the season on this channel. I can't wait for that watch party. We're going to have a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Gig 'em. See you soon.